I like to think
let's
we are
not blow
much more
anything up.
understanding than our cousins.
You also just generally will have less social sway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
compared
mean,
to
I don't think,
Asphalt.
are we really trying to get social sway? I think we're just trying to be like, hey, we're friendly.
It's
Please don't
We
start a
might-
war.
We might
Hey,
need
we are-
social
it's like,
sway
hey,
for that.
we
might
are of
need
no
social-
threat to you unless you
sway.
piss us off.
Well,
we might need that.
No, not even that.
not
Yeah,
even
we're
that.
just no
You
threat
guys
to
will be
you.
fucked.
If we like piss off the whole Vale, we are going to be screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, don't bring up like on my fate, on my honor type shit. That
Plus-
is left at the Carrick,
Yeah.
and we
Pl-
fucking leave it there.
plus, we were invited by Nathan too, right? So it's like we're guests of a guest.
Yeah.
We can
Right,
be
so it's-
civilized.
Oh yeah. 100%.
We can definitely be civilized.
We're doing library research, by the way, Gil.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can put. You can at least put Amir into a suit for about I'd say
Well,
a
it's
few hours.
like putting a harness on a dog. Come on.
Exactly.
Come over here. Come on. Put it
He
on.
wants to be in this
Dude, that's-
fucking disheveled gray mess.
Hmm.
One seventh little fighter. Oh, we get that. Come on.
Rest militia
No!
is 1,000 people. Good God.
53rd levels. Damn.
Yeah, I know. You can see that.
That's a lot of people.
This is why you don't challenge them.
Yeah.
We weren't planning on it.
Well, if we were evil, we would find a way to do it.
I mean, there's a difference between being evil and just being dumb.
Yeah.
All right,
Fuck.
so you've kind of got a general idea of like political standing of the city. What's your next question?
Should we ask about like how do the bands of rest come into play? I think that's
Yeah.
a good question.
So each of the Knights bands is a mercenary group who are paid off by a specific tariff created by the city, and each of the Knight band captains answer directly to the king himself.
Hmm.
They take direct orders and they do not have any political say in terms of like policy making. So in contrast to the Royal Knights, who are all nobles and members of great wealth, they don't have any say in how the city is ruled, just how to safeguard the city itself.
Mm.
It is generally seen as a way for peasantry to elevate themselves if they have any sort of martial standing. As there is
Yeah.
no way to get into the royal army without being born a nobleman.
Hmm.
But you can get into the Knights bands.
Mhm. And then I guess for the last question, what is the festival of the Vales of Feast of Winter's Vale?
The Feast of Wintervale is a primary religious event that is basically a retelling of the early mythology of man. And it is used as a time to reflect on the year for the most part. It's basically like New Year's celebration
Okay.
where they will invite people over, have good food, and try and avoid any super heavy topics. It's
Okay.
just a time to relax and to engage with friends for the everyday person, engage with friends and create new relationships in a way. It's a very low. Once the initial ceremony is over, it's a very low risk, low tension kind of event.
Okay, so it's just it's essentially networking and being like, yeah, we're thankful we're alive.
It's Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving. It is.
Get together and vibe.
You know, it's
It
not
is
like
tomorrow.
Try
not
not to
like
start
Easter.
fights with your racist uncle.
It's not like Easter or Christmas where it has like a much heavier kind of symbolic meaning to large portions of the population. It's just like, all right, I am generally thankful to be alive. Here is kind of how we as humans started out, and this is why we do certain things. Yeah, Gail, if you want to roll an intelligence check just to see if you get a question.
Gotcha.
Um,
Character sheet.
I roll two?
Intelligence.
yeah,
Oh,
you
hey,
should
not
roll
bad.
Yay!
two questions there.
2 more
You
questions.
did better than
Guidance.
me. You did better than me.
Wow, that's
Yeah, when you're failed.
a little
power.
sad.
Why is Kingsmoot open?
I have no knowledge of what questions I want to ask. So I defer
About
them to the
rest?
group.
All right. Oh, let's see. Well, we haven't got.
What else
This
do
is
we
our
need to
last
know?
question, right? Let's
Oh,
see.
okay.
I'm thinking, look, because maybe we know we know a pretty decent amount of like, hey, don't fuck up this way. And we also do know that like some people are a little bit like oh don't those dwarves are doing something,
Hmm.
but I don't know what.
Is it
Crash course me. Is there
I-
anything we should not be doing?
don't be an absolute asshole and do not blow up if someone insults you.
Yes.
Oh, no problem.
Yes. No matter what, no matter fucking what, don't blow up or else. Our
Apparently
Um,
some like
characters
minor
are
wars
going
have been started with Asgel in the past
Yeah.
over
Yes.
saying the wrong thing. So as long as we don't
Okay.
like, flip our lids, we're
Gotcha,
probably
don't say
okay
anything.
there.
An idea I say
Do
we
not
could
pull
ask
a Rolo.
of the new next couple of questions we have is we should ask about the leaders of both the military and religious house, and like maybe
Mhm.
some extra information about the king himself.
So
Yeah.
should we? So I guess one question could be the fuck, I lost it. I came back. I lost it. Came back.
Gotta hate that.
I guess the heads of power outside of the king and their roles.
Well, then
Like,
that is
makes
very
sense,
wide.
or
Maybe we should narrow it down to maybe the army, and because it's also like a religious festival, let's say specifically the high priest of Palor.
Mhm.
See what their vibes are, or maybe the high priest of this, of certain orders. Maybe let's
Alright.
start with the general out first, or the person that leads the armory, so we can so we know the general vibe of what he brings to the table.
The current leader of the military of Rest is a man by the name of, well, full title, Knight Captain Onthar Garethos. He's racist.
Oh.
He thinks humans as superior to all other races, and he very often treats other people that way.
That's fun.
Got it.
Which is not helped by the fact that humans are the dominant race of the Vale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I talk to this guy, I might end up punching him, so I shouldn't talk to
Yeah,
this
let's
guy.
not.
Do not.
Yeah, do not.
I'm joking, of course.
I don't care how much he pisses you off. Do not start a war with the rest.
Yeah,
Yes.
Emil's already sworn a vow of silence until this whole thing's over.
Great, how
Now,
should
that
we
might
leave
be
you at
taken
home?
as rude too.
That's
What'd you say?
rude.
That might be taken as rude.
Fuck.
Can't win with these humans.
I'm a cleric. I'll say it's part of.
I feel like talk to
invited,
people at this event you got invited to and don't start a fight are pretty basic conditions to me.
Yeah.
I invited you to a
Yes.
party, and you have refused to interact with anybody here.
Yes, that's an
That's
asshole.
fucking
move.
rude.
That's rude as a person. Josh thinks that's rude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just an asshole, rude.
Does that do you have any sub questions for that? I know that wasn't really a lot of information.
Yeah. Some questions.
Like any questions perhaps about any of the knight captains?
Let's see.
How skilled are they?
Okay.
No.
Okay, that's
No.
Each of them is generally about a 9th level character.
Oh,
Okay.
So pretty
Nice.
up there.
I'm trying to look for the actual book of actual list of fucking the night bands.
They're in handouts, characters. There is. I'll just send them all out, to be honest.
Important characters.
Nathaniel. Cornelius.
we like Cornelius.
To start any more
Mr.
fights with this
Stilius.
child.
I will do my best to not fight his daughter. Even
I mean, his
like I won't be starting
Even if she
anything.
squares up, say no.
Yeah, if
I
she's
know.
squaring up, I'm gonna be saying no.
All right, I think maybe we should look at the leader of the Dragon Band of Rest because I'm pretty sure that is the fucking Crown Prince, or at least
Yeah, that
he's
sounds
there.
important. Stab myself with myself.
So, Albert von Draken is the brother of the current ruling king.
Mm.
It is a traditional position to be taken up by the second-born son of the royal family within each generation to basically become one of the Knights leaders to create a bridge between the Knight bands and the king himself, and to hopefully get rid of some of the classism that might be coming.
Hmm.
In practice, that tends to just turn the band of the dragon into a super elitist group of.
Oh dear.
Oh, the Janissaries.
It's not like they're as bad as like the royal army in the Royal Knights, but it becomes, oh, we're being funded by a royal prince.
Hmm.
They have all of the money and several boons from the royal family that include wyverns for mounts.
Oh my
I'll do
god.
it.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the Janissaries. Name any fucking elite organization. That's probably them at one point in history.
yeah. As
Yeah,
for
Praetorians.
so Prince Albrecht himself, he hasn't really done a lot of note. He doesn't really fight as fiercely as the other knight leaders do. I mean, even Nathan has more successes to his name over the past Goblin War. Albrecht was effectively, him and his band were the city's guard during that war. They tend to stay close to home, and they don't go out on expeditions very often, which is pretty much like the polar opposite of the Band of the Stag, who are all about freedom and basically independence from the city itself. So they tend to be the ones who go far and beyond. They're the ones who ever, if anyone ever strikes into the Warm Smoke Mountains, it's probably them.
All right, maybe
Yeah,
we should.
Prince Albert does seem like someone whose fingers are as soft as a mirror.
That is
As a mirror,
As a
that's a new phrase
mirror.
I've not heard
That's
before.
okay.
that is a new mule classic, I guess.
Meal classic.
I think maybe we should ask about
We don't
the
really
High
know
Priest of
about
Halor.
anything about Albert von Graf.
Yeah, we don't. Who's he?
Albert von Groff.
Leader of the Knights Bands of the Bear of Rest.
Bear
The bear.
Boys.
Ooh. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't even met him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you
What's
asking?
what's that guy's deal?
Or, I mean, I guess I'll give you. Is this one of your questions, or is this a sub question?
So it'd be a
I mean, if we're doing sub questions of just like the knights, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
Then I guess this is a sub question.
He is a people's fighter. He started as a woodsman, and he has, through brute strength, brought himself up to a leader of one of the Knights bands. He does not care for decorum very often.
Hmm.
He's seen as very
Gruff.
uncouth, very vulgar, and generally does not like standing on ceremony too much. He is Beorn.
Or rain the fucking roll trees like that's my boy. That's my boy.
That's my guy.
That's my guy. Doesn't like me
Mil-
point to a suit ever. Let's go. Oh, was that? I'm sorry.
Nah, nothing.
Um. Uh, can we get some more? As a sub question, can we get some more general knowledge of Cornelius?
Let's see. Cornelius is not a natural born rest citizen. He came from the Raijani in the Raijani Savannah. He did not appreciate their non-sedentary lifestyle, wanted to raise his family closer to a single place. He generally did not value his people's culture, which involves a lot more druidism, and he just did not vibe with that lifestyle. And so he's like, all right, I'm a big, very strong man who can pile drive entire, fence posts into the ground single-handedly. I'm gonna just go become a knight. And yeah, if he's anyone who could, if there's anyone who could literally with a hammer knock a goblin's head off into a hole and
Oh, God.
invent golf, it'd be him.
Yeah. All right, so he doesn't. So
But
what I'm
he
getting.
still very much values freedom. It was more of a, I want all of the benefits of living near a sedentary settlement, but I'm not gonna follow too many of your rules. He's not terribly popular among the city folk.
What's his temperament? Is he like prone to anger?
No, he's chill. That would be more like Albert.
Okay.
His daughter,
Albert
though,
is the
will
fucking-
square up.
His daughter will
he's-
see somebody who looks like her age and see, oh yes, rival.
What did you
Yes.
say? What word was that?
Oh yes, rival.
Ah.
So
I
it's
mean-
always on site for her.
It's not on site.
Someone her
She
age.
has chosen
God.
Torek as a rival.
Ugh.
Whether or not
Yeah.
you see it that way, yes.
Yeah. I mean, for
For
dwarves, you
Torek,
guys
it's more
are
of just
kind
like,
of young.
this child is trying to slap me. Do I slap her back?
Is that considered polite?
What do I do here? There's a
Alright.
child
Is this
who's
a strange
assaulting
form
me.
of human greeting?
See,
Everyone
Although
child is
after all the
assaulting me.
years that it's been, she's like 23 now.
Oh shit.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been like
It
4
is.
years.
yeah, it's been 4 years. Holy shit! Let me.
It'll look less
at the
sketchy
age
if
of
you know what's
Amir real
going on.
quick. Hold on, because I realized, oh shit, Amir broke 50, 150.
Wow.
Wait, how old am I now?
I'm 140.
Amir's canonically the oldest, and I like that.
Torek is 96.
109.
I achieved to give off the most elderly, cranky old man
Yeah.
energy I can with
You
this.
have
character.
old man vibes.
You have old man
Of
vibes.
course, Amir accepts that. Amir accepts that open-handedly.
Alright, what else do we want to know?
I mean, we learned a lot about the
What about
The
Nathan?
military
How
leaders.
is Nathan viewed? I guess. What's Nathan's gist?
Nathan is a little bit of an opportunist.
Okay.
We know.
Out
Yeah.
of all of the Knightsband leaders, he is the least martially capable, but he puts himself out there more often than Albrecht.
So, as in, like, if something happens, he will put himself on the line or put his band on the line to help or something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
In a situation of crisis, he's much more
First to act,
willing
but the
to
weakest
take.
to act.
He's not the first to act. That's always Cornelius. No, that's always Albert.
Yeah.
He's like the second or third.
But
You
when
really
he
gave us both
does,
Albrecht and Albert, didn't you?
Yeah,
I did not
that's your
mean to do
fault.
that. It's Germanic names. They
Yeah.
all start with ah.
Fair.
but I
Yeah,
feel
we
like
should be lucky we've got this view.
when he does get going, he tends to really get the ball rolling.
He has the second most resources and the best organizational skills out of the leaders.
Thank God we made friends with him first.
Oh, we got the guy with logistics. That's good.
Yeah, we got
That's
the
good.
Hey,
This is
logistics wins
great.
wars.
We got the fucking robo of this group.
Yes. You got the robo girly man of this group.
I accept that way better than the fucking
the what
than the
of the
fucking
group?
It's from
Rabute.
Warhammer.
Yeah,
There's like a big, very important guy whose name is Rabute Gilliman, but nobody can say it, so they like to call him stupid things like Robo Girly Man.
Robo
because
girly
no one can say
man.
reboot because no one can say Rabute Gilliman.
That's amazing.
Oh my god.
Papa Smurf because his entire army's
Yeah, I was about to say, is that the
Primarch?
Primarch, Gilliman?
Yeah, it's Papa Smurf.
Oh my
Was it
God.
Ultramarines?
Oh my
Yeah, the
God.
Ultramarines, yeah.
Got it.
So yes, he is not the strongest, he is not the fastest, and he is probably the most well thought out.
Okay.
In
Alright.
all seriousness, he takes these things the most serious out of the four.
Okay. So we're gonna be asking the right guy. Man, we made friends with the right guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that you met the guy who's into networking the
Yeah.
first.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, compared to the I stay at home, and then there's other guys who are like, yeah, we're fucking out.
We're probably gonna like see each other in the worm smokes one day, just like point at each other, like, yo.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, out of
Oh, we're
all
usually
of the Knights fan
underground.
leaders, though, I think something is to be said. None of them took the position or earned the position because they wanted to like necessarily just help the people.
Mm.
Albert is the closest to a noble intention. Most of them saw it as a position that gave them benefits.
Mm.
Yeah. It's well, it's a human's thing,
It's-
right? I don't want to promotion. I don't really don't want to be. I don't want to be promoted. But if I do, I think the benefits outweigh the cons. The pros
Well,
outweigh the
yeah,
cons.
that's just. I don't think that's a human thing. I think that's just the groups thing. Hell, fucking look at you, Samter. You're out here being like, I don't want to be this big important guy. But
I'm
also,
yeah.
I mean, if I have to take that great route, I mean,
I won't say no.
all right. Military leaders are done. Let's see what other.
Oh, well,
Nice.
who's the religious leader?
yeah, I think
I
knowing about
guess.
that would be good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is not currently a major organized religious structure in the Vale. In Rest, you have each temple that is relatively independent.
Okay.
Most of them will feed into the Temple of Pelor, but most of them operate independently from each other. I can give you more information on certain individuals, though.
All right, because I'd say first definitely is the leader of the
Halo.
House of Paler. Yeah.
That's probably
So
good
the House of
plan.
Pelor is led by High Father Elias Heim. There's really not a lot to him. He's a very simple man who started out as a acolyte of the church and has been trying to safehold and to safeguard the traditions of rest as a mostly patriarchal society.
Okay.
And in rest, Josh, who are the main gods?
The human ones.
Primarily, it's just Palor. There are, specific smaller situations, but most of the time it's like, okay, if I'm getting up and I'm praying, I'm gonna pray to
Praise the Baylor.
how do I put this? Your everyday farmer doesn't really care about individual gods. Most of your individual farmers will just see the sunrise and be like, oh, hey, it's a good morning. I'll just throw out a prayer to whoever's listening. And the god of the sunrise and the god of the morning is Palor.
Yep.
So he gets all of the praise for starting new days, rejuvenating people, good health, those kinds of things. And because of that, he collects the most tithes in the city because everyone wants to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
That
As
is fair.
for more specific situations, you have Saloon at this point in history. She has been adopted into the human pantheon, or Elun's kind of weird
Alter ego.
adaptation into the human pantheon.
Goth Elune. There we go.
Balloon
Hey, we
tried to
call
disguise
it
himself,
Balloon.
but just changed one letter in her name.
Yeah. I mean, look at real world religions. That's what happens.
Everyone was like, okay, Balloon.
People will pray to Saloon in times of troubles and in the dark. It's just, I mean, it's the same thing that you guys saw in Curse of Strahd. The Morning Lord is the person you pray to for general health. If you're in a tight bind, you ask Saloon, please get me the crap out of here, man.
Please, come on, please.
Because no one else is listening is the kind of vibe that she has. It's like she is for the marginalized people. She is for the orphan that is out on the street in the middle of the night. A little bit more often than your other gods, you have the Red Knight.
Hey.
Because the Red Knight is basically the Athena to Tempest's Ares. It's like, okay, war sucks, but I want to be protected. I will pray to the Red Knight. And then, you've got Tempest. He's real important, especially these few years after the Gablin War, but
Oh yeah, definitely.
war freaking sucks.
What
I will
is
also
a
say
good-
the Red Knight, if you are a major servant of the Red Knight, nobody will know your name.
Oh.
Your identity should be secret. But that's only for people in the clergy. Because if people know who you are, they can use your identity against you.
Oh, because Faye.
Yeah.
We
We started this.
Thank God I wish to be the guy that brings like half the fucking traditions of the Red Knight.
You have the leader of the Temple of Gond. It's craftsman Stefan Hofbauer. He's basically kind of like a foreman of all of the workshops of rest. He's the kind of guy who is handling not the logistics, but he's the one that's handling apprenticeships. He is the de facto leader of the Craftsman Guild, which includes, all stone cutting, all wood carving, all creation. He's a very simple man, and he does not.
And how do you spell his name, Josh? Actually, how do you spell the what was it, the father Palor and the what was it, the father of the Church Palors? Cool.
Josh, most important question. Where does Father Lucian land in all this?
It's
Father Lucian is not alive.
Damn it.
Is he
He
dead?
would be a sub. First of all, Father Lucian would not be in a big city like this. We all
Yeah.
know he's a small town kind of guy.
yeah.
Yep.
Living
But
in a
also,
lonely
he's in
world.
freaking Barovia.
Yeah. He wouldn't be anywhere near rest.
Alfred, I need a priest. Yoink.
No.
It's free real estate.
So I mean, he would be underneath the High Father, and then you've got the Ilmater. The servants of Ilmater. They're all called martyrs because basically,
Yeah,
I hate to
Ilmater.
say it's a dream of theirs, but there's a lot of respect if you die in the service of saving somebody
The-
under that clergy. They're kind of known for being like a little bit suicidal.
They're the death
Question.
core of Krieg.
Is Ilmater still like have all the like flayed skin type deal?
Yeah.
Did you purposely make his servant have a last name of Flesh?
Maybe. I thought it was funny.
It was
It's
funny.
funny.
Just like, wait a minute, his last name is Flesh.
Does anyone have any specific questions about any of these guys?
Um,
I don't.
let's see. Right, we know their name. We know their genus is kind of a very simple people.
Yeah. I
Let's
mean, we
see.
don't. Yeah. Good.
No, go ahead, Ethan.
No,
You can say-
I didn't. Mine wasn't going anywhere.
I was just going to say maybe. I mean, it would be nice to know them. It's just, I feel like for us dwarves, it's oh yeah, these are the people I can.
It's
They have respect.
it's
They
good
have
to know of
respect,
them.
but we have long
We-
lifespans.
It's good to know of them, and I guess it's as people with influence, but we don't have a reason to interact with them.
Would we?
I don't know.
Maybe
Temper doesn't.
maybe the prince and Stefan.
How
Well, I'm
many-
talking about the religious side.
how
That's
many
what I'm
questions
talking
do we
about.
have?
That is a good question. How many questions do we have left?
We have two. I think we have, unless we count that as a sub. Oh, those are sub questions. We have two real questions left.
Okay, I think maybe we should focus on that. Maybe focusing on
Like, human customs.
well,
For
what
the-
is human customs?
Wait, yeah. You know, so we can be like, not insult them with this sign. Insult them doing this. You know.
Well, I'm
So
pretty
I
sure
guess-
the main custom is just don't be an asshole.
Well, yes, but there may be specifics. You know. Of like to like what is like, you know, to the royalty, like for the grace here, don't speak unless spoken to.
I mean, yes, but shouldn't
Give us
we?
a social
save those-
etiquette pamphlet.
I'll just say, shouldn't we save those for questions for Nathaniel?
Nathan.
Yeah, Nathaniel.
Yeah, I guess.
Wrong guy.
Yeah, we save those for them, and then we get the just general overview of the others with these questions. How about that?
Sure.
Like maybe some other high noble people that will be there.
Or if there's any information on any of the foreign dignitaries who are also coming.
Yeah.
Like some basic names and details on them would be good if that's something that would be available here.
Yeah.
None of the
it just
foreign dignitaries will be attending the Feast of Winter Veil.
Okay.
you said none of the northern.
None
Or
of
none-
the foreign dignitaries will be at
Okay.
the Feast of Winter's Veil.
Huh. We're special.
Well, we're not foreign. We're from the Vale.
Yeah.
We're just
I
weird.
think, I think maybe it's a question I could ask is about our other biggest neighbor, the merchant princes of Denovar.
What about him?
Um,
Yeah. Now, this will be our last question too.
I thought you said we had two.
Yeah, I thought you said we
Well,
had
was
two.
was the one question not for the foreign dignitaries one?
I'm not
Did that
including
count?
that one.
Okay.
That's just basic information.
That was just null results.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe ask about who would be technically the leader of Denver, who would be the main guy in charge.
So is this the question?
Yes.
Who's in charge of Denver? What's their vibe? Huh?
Yeah.
You have 3 merchant princes, and well, 2 merchant princes, a merchant princess. They don't make that distinction often. She's just a merchant prince. Lynn Shadler. I never know how to pronounce some of these sometimes.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with Shadler. She is the shadiest among the 3 of them. Everybody knows but cannot prove that she earned her wealth through extortion and blackmail. She
dear.
often comes to such events to check in on her blackmail ease.
Hmm.
She is considered the second richest out of the 3 of them. She especially tried to focus on manufactured agrarian goods, so anything that you would consider artisanal. Oh gosh. So wine, luxury goods like silk, um, any kind of fine woods, and that kind of stuff is what she trades in. Adrian Hirsch is the least productive out of the 3. He is the not productive, least wealthy of the 3. He brings most of his goods over the gotta remember my directions, over the western roads to the sea from all of the smaller fishing towns on the west coast of the Eastern Kingdoms. So whale oil, fish, product, trade goods from up north, trade goods from the Dwarven Empire tend to come through him because much as the dwarves hate the sea, traveling through the mountains can sometimes be worse.
Hmm.
Oh,
Especially between Asgol and the Greater Dwarven Empire, that is
Which way is the Greater Dwarven Empire?
down,
Oh,
so north.
you and your stupid fucking maps.
I know, and
Alright.
it's not necessarily just a matter of like safety. It's also just time. It's a lot faster to ship through boat than it is to walk through the underways because it's not a straight shot
Okay. So we
or through the
gotta.
Yeah.
mountains.
No one.
Curvy pathways.
Don't. So watch your toes. So watch we speak about us building a about our capacity on boats at the moment, or else
As
you
long
might
as
be
they
like,
stay in the lake, it's fine.
And then Victor Windsor is exotic creatures is his favorite hobby. He likes to sell a lot of things that are considered eccentric. This has, in some occasions, included things like dinosaurs from Cholt.
yes.
This also includes a lot of livestock on the less eccentric scale of just he trades, especially in breeding pairs of animals and things like that. And anything that involves like worked gold, he really appreciates selling those kinds of things. And magic items are his bread and butter.
Yeah, no wonder
The
he's
other
rich.
things are his side hustles. Magic items are his biggest
what he's
resource
known
that he
for.
sells.
Okay.
Well, I might be getting it.
Yeah, that might be good to know him.
Probably would have been good to know 6 months ago, but
Yeah.
When I
And-
told you that there was a city centered on trade, especially,
But it's
maybe you
so
should have
far
asked.
away.
Maybe, but did we know?
It's not even that far away. It's just down the
It's really
fucking
not.
road for us at this point.
Josh almost smited us.
I mean, Josh, when we have carved out in the underground ways a fucking path that probably runs like about that as safe for now. I don't think that
I was just checking
Yeah,
to see how far it was.
we better not use our teleport shenanigans too much. It'll start getting filled up with monsters again.
Yeah.
Agreed.
She makes a great point.
that doesn't Mimir. That just turns into like Mimir's daily tasks. Just go or
Just
like
go on a
monthly
hike and
tasks.
kill some monsters.
Exactly. It's like
I need to
"Alright,
go.
man."
We're,
I
we're
need to
just
go
on a
sleep.
rotation as to who goes out every few weeks and just slaughters everything there.
Oh my god.
God.
We
All
have
right.
one more
maybe-
question.
Yeah, I think. Let's see. Um.
As a sub question, will all three be attending?
These are all people who are attending, yes.
Gotcha.
Another sub question: do they like dwarves?
Adrian is considered a dwarfaboo.
Oh god.
Let's go.
That took a second to translate, and I wish it hadn't.
He shows up and he has just a giant braided beard.
Oh
Cultural
god.
Aw.
appropriation.
He's like, I know, maybe a short beard, but
Lynn sees you guys as an obstacle and a hurdle.
She's probably right.
She is right.
We are very good at being an obstacle.
Yeah.
Victor
Often to
Victor
ourselves.
generally views dwarves as like y'all weird, but y'all have some good crap, so
Yeah, we're profitable.
we'll break even on that. I don't particularly care. Also, y'all don't buy enough animals. It's weird.
Alright, let's just buy a
Looking for
fucking.
crowd. That's a
Consist
bit
off of
tricky.
fire lichen.
well, if you buy animals, then it's kind of like, why are you buying animals? Dwarves don't buy animals.
Alright, what about this? We say fuck you to Josh and immediately start buying dinosaurs from this man.
Oh my gosh. Well, then rest is gonna be
It
why
will
buying
be
dinosaurs.
astronomically pricey.
It will
We
be,
live
because I
underground.
know that
Where are we
average-
keeping the dinosaurs?
I'm
They'll
talking
get
like
a
tens of
vitamin D
thousands.
deficiency.
Yeah, even in Chult, it's still fucking expensive.
Yeah.
It would probably be more cost effective to go to Schultz and find dinosaurs.
All right, fine. We need to find at least a couple of
Because we probably
It's
wouldn't
just
get eaten by
worse.
T-Rex.
Easiest.
yes to put into the lake.
Oh my
I
god.
don't want to
Fill our
know
lake
what
with
an
water
underground
dinos.
lake adapted plesiosaur would look like.
God.
No, I call let's do the Mosasaurus.
Mosasaur with cave adaptations.
Oh god.
It's
Echolocation, please, mosasaur.
God. All
We
right,
get
the
a-
last
We just
question.
think he's neat.
I think besides
He's
the
our
royal
buddy.
house, we should learn about the nobles of rest itself. Besides just the nobles, like no, I'm talking about
Eh.
besides just the royal family.
Oh yeah, the
Probably
Do
nobles.
we know that
idea.
much about the royal family? I don't feel like we asked that much about them.
No, we didn't. So I think we can
Mm.
ask about the
I think that might be
nobles
right.
from Nathan.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's ask about the royal family.
Yeah.
But what questions shall we ask?
what
I'm just going to give you what is publicly known information is that the royal family is not a public group.
Mm.
They are very wary of assassinations because
Yeah.
they came from a high espionage people. And
Mhm.
the only person among the royal family who makes constant public appearances is the king. That is not a question that you had to expend. That is just what you would know.
All right, so maybe let's ask about the other nobles, the major nobles, like maybe ones that control trade inside the city. Besides, Nathan, the one we know. Like who's the main one that trades grain? Who's the main one that trades animals? We should at least get a list of names for that. So if we need to do some more upcoming research, we can even look into them through that. Well, that's if.
Sure.
What do you guys think?
Sure.
Yeah, fine with me.
All right. See. Um. Yeah. Let's ask the. About the. I would say the major royal. I don't say royal, but the major noble houses and what their whole deals are with the city.
So there are 4. Andreas Rohr, who basically has control of this chunk. He has the largest general standing of land in the kingdom. He is considered the most influential of the 4, but he is not very well liked. He imposes large taxes. None of the nobles specialize in anything. It is more about how they rule the areas that they have control of. So if anyone wants to make a note of that, I would.
So these nobles are useless.
Eh.
They are nobles, yes.
Okay, so
But they have money. A lot of money. So
mm,
if you're wanting to make good friends who have a lot of money to spend, these are the people to do it. Next, we have Konstantin Gausser. He is probably the weakest of the 4 nobles. He is the most desperate to create new things. He's a gambler. He is very bad with money.
Oh no.
Hmm.
You have Marquis Guillard, who controls this section. He is probably no, that's not Marquis Guillard. That's Samuel Nix. Samuel Nix controls this area. There's not a whole lot to this guy. He basically stays out of any major disputes between the houses because he stands directly in the middle. He doesn't take risks. He doesn't do a whole lot. Honestly, he's boring.
I
And
figured.
the most removed and probably the one who is closest to vying for independence and has the most strenuous relationship with the royal family is Marquis Guillard. He controls everything from Niemon Gap to Brindle.
Oh shit.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as much as Andreas, so
I would be careful around the Marquis because if he's vying for independence, he might see us as a way of getting it.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Because
But
we're
also-
kind of between him and rest, so
that is very astute of you.
Right, so fortified defenses. Got it.
What?
No.
No,
I'm kidding.
No,
I think more of don't get into any sketchy deals with this guy if we don't want to stop
Yeah.
fights.
yes, and also didn't Chun-Li tell oh well not Chun-Li but the other I forgot who exactly told us that how our king, the former king, before he died, he got us he got Asgard into a war with Rest, or like a civil war, and that was more devastating for our people than the entire Goblin Horde.
Yeah. We just have to be careful.
Any more? Well, before we go talk to Nathan, let's take a quick break.
Alright.
To have these sessions with just pages of notes.
Library research time. Now we get to the point where you head over to the Roost and you go to the same meeting room that is starting to look real familiar with Nathan, as this is I think your 6th time meeting with
Oh
him
my
here.
god.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that many. Wow.
Yeah. He has at this point he has set out each of your favorite snacks.
Bruh.
After big smile. Nathan!
With food
He's
in his
already
mouth.
eating before he says Nathan. I love this imagery.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just ran my head into my lamp.
It is good to see you, all of my favorite dwarven friends.
It's good to
It
see
is
How
you
can I be
too.
of service
It's
to
good
all
to
of
see
you?
you.
Well, seeing as we are right around the corner, thanks to your invitation to, we did a little bit of research. The Feast of Winter's Veil. We figured it would be best to ask you some questions about how we should maybe handle ourselves, considering that we obviously have nearly zero knowledge of human customs.
After shaking each of your hands, after in the meantime of you explaining this, he says, "You are a good steward of your opportunities." He sits back on the couch, stretching out his arms and placing his feet on a footrest. How can I answer any questions? What is your first?
I imagine we all pull out of the list.
We pull out like not a scroll, but just like a blood tablet. Like,
A
what?
lead tablet. It's
Are
like,
we all gonna
okay.
die of lead poisoning? Is this why dwarves are resistant to poison? Because all the fucking lead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. This is my in-universe explanation. It is an adaptation to their record keeping.
Damn right, and I accept this. My mirror will go
Oh,
down
that's
in the
hilarious.
book, in the record book from dying of lead poisoning.
Everybody just, how? How? I don't know.
I don't know.
God.
We don't ask these questions.
Okay, okay. First question would be probably ask him the order of the basically the general order of a royal feast. Like do you stand up in front of like more people of higher esteem than yourself? And if you're a guest of from a different race, how do you do that? Like do you stand up for the king? Do you stand up for the head the highest of nobles, even if you're someone of a different race and or people? Do you still have to follow those traditions?
Well, the banquet is assigned seating, so you will be placed by the servants when you first come in. After the whole ceremony and all of that stuff is over, it's basically a free-for-all. Just go talk to whoever you want, have some food, have some drink, don't get too drunk. Avoid throwing chairs like Albert did last year.
Oh dear.
But he got upset about somebody stealing his cup. I don't really remember. I was also drunk.
I mean, yeah.
And as for traditions and no-nos, don't touch the king.
Okay.
Don't touch in general. We're not a very touchy people.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Shake hands with everybody but the king.
Okay.
Don't go much further than that unless you are related,
All right.
which
Yeah.
I think the dwarves from Asgard did deny this invitation this year because of the moot.
Yeah.
So
So you will be the only dwarves there. Represent your people well.
Oh boy.
Wrong one.
Not even Red Rock. Damn. Not
Just
even Red
thinks to
Rock got
herself,
set.
just, oh, we are not a good representation of
fucking
our
play.
people.
We are. Yeah, I
What
quote
are you
on.
talking about? Fantastic representation.
We are the most eccentric.
We are
of our
stubborn as
people.
hell.
Yeah, well,
Stubborn as
yeah.
hell.
During the ceremony itself, each group will basically be told by the servants when to get up and when to follow, and they will sort of symbolically and ceremoniously present what they are contributing to the feast. The servants will basically tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, it's your time to get up. Go walk over with them." They will be carrying all your stuff. So all the stuff that was made out of the eggs. And they will present it to the king. You just kind of like bow your head, give him a little wave if you want. Not really. That's a
So,
joke.
so
Oh, yeah.
for
and
sorry
then
to
go back
interrupt
to your
you.
seat. Go.
So I'm guessing. So is it's standard for each guest to, well, I guess, but everybody to at least bring something to the feast. Is that correct?
Each people group, yes. And you already
Okay.
have.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the eggs then.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
After that, we'll typically we break into cliques. Don't feel bad about kind of shouldering your way into any of those. Talk with people, network. I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna get wrapped up in the military discussion, so if you want to say hi, please do. I don't like talking about that stuff.
Yeah,
Understand.
we'll throw out a little line for you if you need it.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I always appreciate it, and that's why I invited you because I thought you would. That's not all,
Yeah.
but you know, that was a small portion of what I invited you for.
Understandable.
We understand.
Yeah.
With
If you
Military
want
discussions
to,
aren't the most fun.
if you want to talk the kind of the big wigs, we'll probably group up together. So the trade princes, the dragon prince is going to be there, and King Helmer is going to be there. They will probably form a group. If you decide to go talk with them, don't mention the Elvish homeland. Don't mention Imric's exile. Don't just don't talk about dragons much in general, I think is the way that I typically go about it.
All
Okay.
right.
And if Lynn asks you anything personal, do not answer her in any way, shape, or form. Deflect.
Yeah. We
yeah.
we've heard about Lynn.
Work.
Mhm.
Sounds like it.
Oh, other traditions. Don't say anything during the ceremony itself. It is a moment of symbolic silence and learning.
Almost moment of reflection. I see.
The ceremony's probably about 2 hours long, so bring a snack. I
Santa's
tend to
like,
bring
The
some.
dwarves with our days long singing ceremonies. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
2 hours? All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
Finally, I don't have to speak over the list of my people and go for like 3 days straight.
I don't want to talk about my people, what they've done for 3 days straight.
I mean, yeah, when we guys done that.
Yeah, we started
Yeah.
the campaign with that.
Yeah.
Funny, we started the campaign with it, and it's probably our third to last, or maybe fourth to last session.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you're talking to any of the religious folks, don't ask the High Templar their name. Don't ask them their gender. Don't ask them anything other than, what is obvious, I guess.
All right.
They're very touchy. I don't like them.
Okay.
If you're
Understand.
talking to Elias, so he's trying to make a thing. He's trying to make what he's calling what did he call it? He's trying to create like a temple council. So he's probably gonna ask you guys about that if you want to represent
Oh,
all of your guys in that.
looks insane. Just gives Santa and Catherine a glance, and goes about doing my thing.
Don't ask Andre why he's bleeding. He'll go on a tirade.
Okay.
Okay.
He's always bleeding somewhere. It's a whole thing. It's their shtick.
Oh,
And I'm not. It's not like rude to ask. You're just gonna get
we're
a
gonna get a
service.
story.
You're gonna get like a 3-hour long service from him. It's just annoying.
Mm.
I'm just giving you kind of my general hints and tricks right now.
Yeah.
I've kind of
Okay.
gone past any traditions I can think of, so
All right,
I'm ranting, I guess. Any other questions?
that's fair. Any food etiquette? Etiquette of the food.
You will be given a small plate. It's about the size of, well, Cornelius's hand, so it's not like a huge plate. Don't overload your plate. Take some of everything. Don't be picky, please. Everyone has contributed parts to this feast. It's a big deal for everybody. Be respectful of what they brought, even if you don't like it. And I mean, no offense to you, eat your greens. I know you guys don't get a lot
I
of
do.
those.
Well, our grains are just red
Yeah.
And spicy.
But
and spicy.
what?
Our grades are just red and
Fire
spicy
lichen.
as
Fire
Edmund
lichen.
pulls out a bottle of fire
I
lichen.
thought that was poisonous.
Not to us.
Not to us. It's actually quite tasty. If
It's really
it
good on
poisonous to
just
humans?
toast.
Wait,
Like food poisoning, yeah. I mean, it won't kill me, but I get
oh,
like, you
Okay,
know,
we'll
the
make sure
runs.
not to ever bring any of that to any events.
yeah.
Noted.
Don't want
This
to
is,
give everyone food poisoning.
I don't want to accidentally kill everyone's taste buds.
Yeah,
It
don't
is
do
quite
that.
spicy.
Yeah.
Anything
I
else?
mean, let's see.
Oh,
Mm,
Marquis Giard lost his son in the last war. Do not mention it in any way, shape, or form. He is
Oh,
still very
no.
distraught about that.
got it.
All right, so don't mention that. All right. Is there any formal way we can butt into the conversation, or do we just go? Do we just
Just kind of like, hey, so
Yeah.
and so, shake hand. I'm
Yeah,
so and
how's
so,
it?
or is
If
it like
there's
that?
not an active conversation, hey, name, and title is fine. If there is an active conversation, listen to it and try and find a way in that involves your people and how you can contribute.
Okay.
Okay.
Treat it
Making
kind of like a
sure.
business meeting, because a lot of people, that's how they handle this.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how I
we,
handle
we,
it.
all, we all look. It's just like,
Uh,
we're not really good with that. Hey, at least
It could be worse.
we got one person though. Eventually, that's coming. Our sixth person is going to be Catherine's brother, Edric Ironfrost.
Good to know. Are you going to share
He's
all this information with
Yes,
him?
yes, we will.
yeah,
yeah.
kind of like explain.
Did I ever
I think I'm gonna go home and give a presentation.
I did meet
Yes.
Edric
Yes.
very briefly at the festival.
Yes.
It was not terribly long. I will have to say hi again.
All right. Yeah.
He's kind of, I guess, in a way, the logistical brains of just the overall Carrick.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. I remember liking that about him, but the way that people like us work just don't have a lot of time.
Mm.
Yeah,
Very
Yes.
true.
Yeah. That's
We-
true.
I
Yeah,
understand.
We have to force them to eat good food rather than basically basic rule. Sometimes.
What are you talking about? Man can live on bread alone. It's fine.
I've done it.
All of
It
you
is a
worry
lot.
me.
He kind of
It's not the
shoots
most
a
sustaining.
doubting look over at you, Sander.
I looked back at him. I was a slayer once. Times were
Oh,
tight.
yes. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Your disposition right now does not lend to that.
He was a slayer in his
Understandable.
youth.
I've
He
grown
was
a lot since then.
he was a fucking delinquent. Now he's ready to be a family dad. Let's give him some slack.
No, I wasn't a delinquent. I just made a extremely poor decision.
Are you a
In
father now,
society.
Center?
Hmm?
Are you a father now, Center?
Not yet, but I hope to be.
That's exciting.
I hope to be.
The besides the major
Do I tell him about?
Tell him about what?
It's like do I tell him about the becoming a deep keeper? It's like no.
No.
well, is there
Not yet,
was
No,
gonna say-
anyway.
This is Ethan pondering.
I was gonna
Let's maybe not
say,
go into this conversation if we have a plan to go, take on your suicide mission.
Yeah.
yeah.
yes, that's not
All this
That's not
investment
gonna,
that you've made might not matter in the next few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say besides the general guests, is there any other people coming? Like
Oh, there'll be some peasantry around. I say that as if I am not one. There will be some of the common folk around, but they're kind of separated in a different venue
Hmm.
than what we will
Alright.
be attending.
all right, cool. Just making sure. Making sure that the list of guests are the list of guests rather than some nobleman saying, "Hey, I brought some random crazy wizard or something like that."
No, well,
Hmm?
no.
There's a crazy wizard.
You never know.
There is the giant.
Alpha party, he wants cake.
Nah, Alfred is depressed right now.
Oh, absolutely
no.
is.
Alfred would be the guy that just says "send cake" and that's it, or he'll just show up before cake and leave.
Send cake.
Teleports in, teleports out.
Teleports proceeds his way through all of the desserts,
Oh
vanishes.
god, no.
Teleports in, animates objects, the entire dessert table, teleports out.
With the dessert
Wha-
table.
Yeah,
Well, puts it in demi-plane, teleports out.
yeah.
All was left is the brief sound of him yelling at Landerbowl to stay away from his cookies.
No, it's Landerbolt who comes to do it.
Landerbolt's come do it.
It
Cake
looks
must
like
be happy.
Alfred, but it's Landerbolt disguise.
Yeah. All right.
This is a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
Landerbolt Shemeshka and Sembra robbing him blind. Landerbolt impersonating him for personal sweets gain.
All right. Maybe
It's the credit to
maybe,
Alfred's reputation is as good as it is with this amount of sabotage.
Yeah.
maybe that question.
Hey, Alfred's
is,
only as good as the Yugolas he keeps under him.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say.
concerning.
Because they will impersonate him.
Yeah, I'll just say,
They
let's
will
ask,
commit tax fraud.
Nathan's more or less his ideas of what the Knights band leaders
Oh yeah.
how's his disposition on them.
How do you
What's his whole
phrase
view?
that?
That is a good question. How would I phrase I'm just trying to make sure get everyone back to fucking the idea session rather than go off on some whole tirade about Alfred the Presbyterian. Um,
I mean, you can ask about how he feels about it.
Yeah.
Or just anything he thinks would be good for us to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Is there any weird things that
Maybe not
Maybe.
weird.
well, not weird, but more things you don't bring up to certain people? I like things you don't bring up to Albert or Albert.
Albert avoids the nobles like a plague, so do not try and involve any of them in a conversation with him.
Understood.
All right.
Albrecht has weird eyes. Don't ask.
Weird. Okay. Won't ask.
Cornelius doesn't generally like rules, so don't try and talk too much about like legislation with him.
All
I
right.
mean, Cornelius is a cool guy. I really don't
Yeah.
mind him.
He
Yeah,
and I
just,
have conversed some. He is quite the
Albert
cool
doesn't
guy.
like me because he thinks I steal from the people, but
Mm.
Knight's gotta eat. So
That is fair.
Albert doesn't like me because I'm a common man, and also because he sucks. That's my personal stand. I don't like Albert. That's really the only man I have issue with.
All
Mostly
right.
because he doesn't do his job.
Noted.
Be frustrating.
I'm sure he thinks he does plenty.
Not bad.
The slander.
All right,
We're all just sitting around like, give us the tea.
The tea.
Yeah.
Well,
Albert's a cool guy, a little overly serious. Cornelius, great friend, good to drink with, keeps it down really well, and he'll carry you home on his shoulder.
Sandra's
It's very comfortable too. It's a very broad shoulder.
Hell
Sandra's like,
yeah.
I like this guy. Love this
I
guy
love
already.
the implication that this has happened many times.
Albert's got a really short temper. Garethos freaking sucks.
Mm.
Yeah, that's really all I can say. They're colleagues. They're not friends. Well, Cornelius is a friend. The other ones are colleagues.
Yeah. All right.
Understood.
I have never gone drinking of my own volition with any of them except for Cornelius.
All right. Cool.
Duly noted.
I was thinking about player me because I'm like, I always see Garrett though, so I'm thinking like, oh, my fucking friend from Shadowland, my fucking bro from Shadowland.
That's right.
Oh shit, he is?
It is not him,
Mm.
but they come from the same family.
Oh,
Are,
Garethos.
oh hell yeah!
Garethos, another random knight that y'all thrusted into the spotlight.
Hey, we gave him a
No one
promotion,
else-
damn it.
No one else besides Delbrook, because Delbrook is like, no, you two are cool drinking buddies. Let's go.
Eh.
Any other
I mean, the
questions?
Shadowlands party was such a mess, we were willing to adopt anyone that was nice and
Yeah.
trustworthy. There was few enough of them.
Yeah, I guess better question is, do you know of anyone there that would try to approach us, I guess, of their own volition?
I think a lot of them are scared, are going to be kind of freaked out by y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Freaked out by
Because-
it.
I guess another question is, what have the humans heard of us?
Why would
There's
they
another
be freaked
thing,
out
too.
at this?
Yeah, what has Rez heard of us?
Well,
Let me put it to you the way that the common man has information about you guys. A little more than 2-3 years ago, a group of dwarves settled in the
which one?
tunnels underneath the haunted, evil Witchwood.
Yeah.
Not much more than maybe half a year ago, there were several sightings of massive statues absolutely decimating monsters in the tunnels underneath the Witchwood.
Oh my boy.
As we all just glance at Mimir.
You just seem weird,
know,
happy
I'm
as shit.
I'm starting
like,
to see it.
see like one tear strolled on his face.
For
Oh my
the
God.
farmers, they will occasionally see a group of dwarves climbing out of a hole that most people see as cursed. A
You know-
sinkhole that took a massive town with it long time ago.
I'm starting to see it. Yeah.
So,
I
for
don't
the
Rude,
cryptids.
but I met you under much more ideal conditions.
Yeah.
I met you at a party, effectively. You guys are my
Yes.
friends. To the rest of the people you're going to meet, most of them are probably not going to believe all the rumors, but the rumors are what they know of you.
Yes.
I guess could you give us any advice as to handling that and assuaging those kind of worries?
Don't be He's trying to think of how do I say this without being
Don't be
rude.
an asshole. Don't be an asshole.
No,
You can
Don't
say
be
it. We won't be
weirdos.
upset.
don't
Yeah.
be so honor bound as the dwarfs normally are.
I
Yeah.
Right?
you're well. I think you've met.
Except that some of these people will lie to you. Don't take it personally like the dwarves always do.
Mm.
People
We
lie. It happens. People wear silver. That's a big thing. Don't get upset about that. We don't
Yeah.
see the
That's a good
problem with
point, yeah.
that.
yeah yeah it's we I would say speaking I think for the whole group we are probably the most abnormal of the
Yeah.
dwarves you will meet.
I think
We're
so too, and that's why I've
anomalies.
invested so much in you guys.
And
We are
Yeah.
guests in your house. I think we can play by your rules.
Yes.
So
I mean-
you know, it's just don't get angry at anybody for not understanding your customs. Somebody,
Will
for
not understand.
some reason, they should all be more educated than this. But if somebody reaches out and touches your beard, don't freak out.
that's good to know.
That is
Okay.
good to
Now,
know, yes.
Another question: are they're not gonna they're not gonna reach the ring my septum they're not gonna reach my ring on my nose, correct?
Is it
I
like a
mean-
piercing? He says, like kneeling down to try and see a bit.
Yes, it is.
I
It
would
is
not imagine anyone would do something such that would be a breach of general
General rules.
courtesy
Yes.
here to. Then again, most people will also see a septum piercing as a little odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people just ears here. Occasionally, we'll have some Johnny who have like cartilage and some other piercings, but we don't do noses here because well, that's hard to do.
I forgot Santa has half of his face covered by a tattoo as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an odd looking one.
Oh my god.
In the real world, you would look like an absolute delinquent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you meet me and I'm like, hello.
Hello.
Anyone there?
Hello.
As a dwarf, he's an absolute Chad.
Woohoo! Big summer blowout.
That makes
Under
sense.
the vibe that Stamper gives off at home. Say hi to
Yes.
family.
Hey, your family
That
for
makes sense.
me.
That it would be the dwarves, the one race that everyone thinks is the drunkest to uphold the fucking tatted up one and the fucking one that has most piercings.
The
As
tatted
your
up
leader.
one, septum piercing,
Yeah, that sounds about right for
Just,
average
yeah,
drunk.
like, just like, what the fuck's that guy? I don't want to associate with him. And it's like, hey guys, do you have enough food? I have plenty for take home. You want spice?
Do we have any take-home boxes? I want to share some with my wife.
and then it's like, oh, he's not that bad. And all you hear is Sasa. It's like,
No,
oh,
then they look
scary
over,
again.
sees like Mimir who's like grumbling in the corner. Emil who's who just baby face and everyone's treating as a child, even though he looks like a man to the fucking humans.
Torek
I'm
is
really-
just
I'm really
jacked
Wanted to
and
attempt a
has the
controversy
shortest
with
hair out of
this
all of
dwarf.
us.
Yeah, you
we're
guys are a
surviving.
weird group of dwarves.
We are.
Yeah.
Catherine and Stamper are the closest to normal. Mimir's pretty close to normal. He's just always grumpy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like
Emil's-
that's not that off-brand for the dwarves.
Yeah.
Actually, like, really the only odd ones, just from a perspective as odd dwarves, are really just Emil and Torek, just because,
Yeah.
wow, I've never seen such a young dwarf out and about before.
And oh, that dwarf only
Everyone
has
was like,
one
he followed us
grade.
home, but he won't leave.
And well,
So now we've adopted him.
his home
We
is
can't go home.
us.
Yeah, his home is here.
Yep. He's ours now. We're keeping him.
Where's your home? That
Where's-
shed that I live in.
Shit, what are you talking about?
Emil,
All
you
right,
don't live
so
in a
I'm
shed.
not-
We've
Shit, you
discussed
live in
this.
Emil, you built half the platform. Don't you give me that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless
Same here.
anyone has
Because I have a
any
finished mine.
other shut up questions, I'm just going to skip to the night of the banquet.
Yeah, I can't think of.
First of all,
anything.
I'll like to. Before that, I'm assuming like we go back to a Karak. I would like to see like during like the general meaning of a Karak to see if any of the other people, i.e., the rest of Edric Group, wants us to interact or talk with or get a vibe on anybody that might possibly be there. Maybe the engineer might want to talk to the, you know, like
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Highsmith. Maybe our shepherd wants to build relations with what is it? Where's it? Victor. For trades in animals.
In that kind of small meeting, because you guys do this generally in the Temple of Moradin that you've built, just because nobody else knows where to do it.
Yeah.
We'll build a
don't have
meeting
a
room
meeting
someday,
room
but it's
yet.
not high priority.
Like someday you will have a place to meet, but hey, what better place than great granddad's house, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
So talking to Garber the smith, he's really not interested. I mean, it's like
I
a
understand
lot of
that,
it's
brother.
like really low quality. If you want to satellite kind of stuff, like that's more for Edric. I'm not interested in them. I'm in talks with Red Rock and Asgal.
Fair enough.
Jaguar, similar situation. None of their stuff is precise enough to actually be useful. They were a great help in the theories of boatcraft and all that, but I've pretty much handled all that at this point. And
Okay.
now we're just reiterating on what design changes we need for our very, very specific. Let me put it to you this way. The people on that lake have to worry about storms and all that stuff. We don't.
Yeah.
But we also need to worry about transporting the 500,000 pounds of stuff that she's pulling out of the ground, jerking a thumb over to Cathro.
So we're probably gonna go towards the rather big barges, and like almost like a carrier fleet.
Namdus basically says you hit it on the nail. I want you to talk to Victor. He's got good
Okay.
stuff. I don't want any of the like crazy
Exotic.
stuff. I
Mhm.
think he'd just be good to cut out some middlemen if we want to just purchase beef. And
Okay.
wool is a good thing. Wool is always nice.
Yeah. Okay.
More sustainable than linens.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And generally for spell scrolls and stuff, from my understanding, is something Asgal trades for a lot is vellum.
Mm.
Mhm.
Because lead is nice and all. That's an expensive scroll if you're using a sheet of lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I don't use scrolls, so they're consumed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That would
So
just be a waste
animals
of
from
lead.
him.
I think I might also want to talk to him about magic stuff as well.
If you want to talk to what's his face? Is it Andreas that does the who's the guy that handles all the agriculture products, like wines and stuff?
Yeah, it's
That
on
is. And is that? Yeah, that's Andreas, right?
I thought Andres was. Yeah.
No.
Wait.
I don't
Talking
know.
about Adrian?
Yeah, that guy.
Mm.
I thought he was the coastal goods guy.
Which one then? Which one has all the wine?
It's
Oh,
Lynn,
God.
isn't it?
It's Lynn, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, it's Lynn.
Fuck.
Is that a bad thing?
Yes. She's the shadiest of all of them, and
She's known for
will
blackmailing.
resort to blackmail
No.
whenever she
Extortion.
wants.
Well, then never mind. Never mind. I just like wine.
Okay.
We
Fair
can-
enough.
we can
That's fair, but
probably-
I feel like we could find a
I
less
don't blame
shady
you.
way of acquiring it.
I
Yeah.
don't blame you there. I do enjoy myself.
Even if we have to
getting
start
pointed
like
down
making it
on
ourselves or
food.
something, might be better
Where
than
are we gonna
dealing
get
with Lynn.
grapes, Torek?
I don't know.
Where's your grapes?
Not grapes, honey.
That's mead.
That's mead.
The meat is also good.
Mead is
It is
also
Mead
good.
is
Yes.
also categorized as honey wine.
Yeah.
But where are we
Yeah,
getting
that's-
bees down here underground?
This points directly upwards.
Oh,
We
okay.
are under the
Yeah.
witchwood.
Ooh, fairy wine.
Ooh, yeah, fairy wine. That's a great
That's a
idea. Let's
great
make the
idea.
humans even more scared of us.
Might as well go eat a fly, Eric.
Uh,
That too.
Those are spicy.
Yeah.
Strongest trip I've ever accidentally had.
Oh dear.
I love the idea of the dwarves like not really being bothered by poison, so we're just eating all the random mushrooms that cracked
Yeah.
up the ground.
Yeah,
We're like, it
right.
probably won't kill us.
Humans
It might be
watch
tasty.
as the
Why do
dwarves
I
get
see
high on the
sounds?
most toxic mushrooms known to man.
Mimir has been
Dwarves
in
will get on with
that
Daddy.
way as well.
So yeah, that's all that that group has to really request. It's really just talk to Victor.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. All right.
At some point while we're home, I give Edric like a 4-hour spiel on everything that's happened and all we learned in rest.
And Santa's gonna be like, do we need another lecture on etiquette, how to speak to everybody? Everybody's
Maybe.
going check. Do we need a lecture?
Holds up
Maybe,
notebook.
yeah.
We got
I'm-
the lecture.
I'm not gonna be good at this shit.
And if you
I
don't-
mean, it sounds like they expect us to be pretty easy to offend, so I think as long as we're just chill and don't say anything sketchy to
Yeah.
Lynn, we should be okay for the most
yeah,
part.
just don't be.
Just don't pick any fights with anyone. Don't flip
Yeah.
out over minor things.
And do remember, this is
Be
a
polite.
human kind of piece. Yeah, this is seen as a
Don't
human.
break into anybody's workshop.
Yeah, don't
What?
fucking.
What?
That was Edric. Don't break into anybody's workshop.
It was one time.
You look over at Santa. Santa's just stop. Just don't. It's not. You're not gonna
Yeah.
win.
Got a crap eating grin.
And Catherine's just like, yeah, I mean, that's fair. We deserve that.
I would do it again. I could say.
No, Mimir.
Mimir, we'll kick you out.
I want the schematics.
No, we won't. We need the golems.
Anyway,
We're not going back there, Mimir.
You're not.
Mimir?
Okay.
No.
Mimir, whatever you're doing, I want to know absolutely nothing about it.
Exactly.
I
I
will
want
know
the
everything
plausible
about it,
deniability.
and I will prevent you to the best of my abilities.
What create a?
He's a wizard, how are we gonna stop him?
Army?
you guys are basically our clan leaders at this point. Let's have some responsibility, please.
Please,
exactly.
Santa's just please, Mimir.
I know. I'm just yank your shine at this point. You know this.
Also, Doric, does anything about a great clan name? I look over to the Iron Frost. Are you guys gonna stick with Iron Frost?
Yes, actually, I would like to talk about that.
Should we leave it you two?
What? A third? Where? How?
We didn't tell you
Why?
yet.
No!
Look, there was a lot of things going on, okay? I hit the cliff notes.
We know
But in
where...
short,
we know
the
where
third
it
one
is.
got picked up by the gnomes.
What gnomes?
So there's gnomes down there.
Underdark, there's gnomes.
There's deep gnomes near that giant underground lake.
The city is called Blydenstone.
Blingdenstone.
Blingenstone.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of dealing with customer service reps and bureaucracy, but we eventually got acquired the third one.
Well,
Oh,
this
just
whole
simple
thing
as
is
that, you know, talk to some
is
guys.
before we got the Great Rune.
What'd you say?
This whole party deal is before we got the Great Rune.
Nah,
No,
we're
it's
just
not.
retconning it to be after.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise,
Torque
it screws the
lifts
timeline
up
too
her
much. And
hands
everyone
and
can't deal
shows
with
the
it.
gloves. They're quite pretty.
Yeah, that's super cool. But you guys need to share when you're doing these things. Like, I knew you were going for the hammer, he says, pointing to Catherine, and I knew about the ring.
I'm
You
not
just
gonna
slopping
lie.
I
this one
forgot
on
to
us?
tell you.
I thought that your sister,
Look,
your
this is on me.
sibling,
I
was going to
apologize.
tell you.
They have to
And
shut up.
I am not letting you pin all of the responsibility on another clan leader as a clan leader.
Yeah.
To be fair, we all forgot to tell Edric.
Yes, we did.
But
I feel excluded.
To answer your
But-
question,
but
Oh, you want to know
also-
everything?
the
wanna
running
know
clan
everything?
name is Torchlight.
Torchlight. Okay. So we've got Torchlight, Ironfrost, Hornbelly.
Mhm.
I think you had mentioned wanting to be another one, Dark Iron. Is
Yeah, perfect.
that what we're leaving it for?
Well,
Do-
I'm not. I'm
Do-
not supposed to
what
be.
about the rest of them? Do any of the other ones want to create it? The
To be
clan?
honest,
Oh.
it's not been on a lot of our minds. Catherine's the one that brought it up first.
Yeah. Also,
Okay.
yeah, I'll just be minor clan leader. I accept this.
All
Well,
right.
and to think about all of the roles that each clan would represent.
That's-
Um,
That's a different conversation.
I mean, we
Yeah,
got.
one we'll
Not
have to
now.
discuss later.
We're all wearing
I
a
was
lot of
gonna
hats
say-
at the moment.
Yeah.
I was gonna say just more as Mimir's thought. Point to Samter, the one that keeps us grounded. Point to Torek, the one that is explorative, and point to Cathra, the one that decides which we need to follow at the moment.
the best.
Obviously.
All right.
Effectively,
Hey. Santa's like,
Especially as,
it's just a smile, right? Like, hey, watch it, man. As a
as
joke.
Mir
Can't be too
as
powerful,
Mir
can
does
you?
see it as that's why I imagine these three great clans are gonna be in the future, as Samter's line is gonna be the one that ensures that we don't go against the ways of Morden. Catherine's the line of the Iron Frost are gonna go down and make sure that does check it out with everything. And then the Torchlights are gonna be the ones that would be the more fucking digging into scrounging around some type of shit.
We're the ones that are gonna be pushy.
And of course,
One's
at
getting
the
everyone
moment,
into trouble.
Well,
I hope to
There's a
not
precedent.
get us into more trouble, but knowing my luck, it may happen.
Is it luck?
is it?
Sometimes it
I
is.
feel like it's a skill.
It's
It's an acquired skill.
It's an acquired skill to get yourself into trouble 5 times
It
out
takes
of
a lot of
6.
practice.
takes a lot of practice.
Depends
to
on the
get
trouble.
I mean, a lot of them,
My-
a lot of
my-
the instances that have gotten us in trouble weren't even my fault. Sure, some of them were,
Yeah, it's all
yes.
Mimir. I mean, probably
But
half
some
them
of
are
them
Mimir.
weren't my fault.
mentioned that Edric doesn't know about the Demon Lord.
That's
Good.
separate. Should
Good.
we?
Okay.
No, it's not.
We should
good.
probably tell him.
But
What?
when?
What
Before
are we
this
gonna tell him?
conference? Actually, let's wait till after this.
Let's
this
wait until
dinner.
after the conference.
So that
I
way
was
he
gonna
can. That way he can like focus on this and not a demon lord.
It's
I mean,
probably
also,
fine.
What are we gonna tell them? Yeah, we sent that.
Yeah, I don't really know what
far
we're gonna
away.
say.
Yeah, what the fuck? are we gonna tell 'em?
Anyways, I'm gonna cut off. It doesn't sound
Yeah.
like anyone's gonna say anything about that specifically tonight.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So
We have learned from
getting
Roland,
to
so-
rest in the middle of winter,
Oh god,
is-
not again.
freezing cold.
Why is
Thankfully,
it
you're
always
not
winter?
looking for the Knight's band that is known for not camping in the same place. So it doesn't take you
Something
3
Torque
weeks to
always
find where.
does say it's just like, why is it always winter when we go to rest?
It's not, we just go to rest a lot.
That's a great idea.
Well, whenever we
Have
seem
you just
to
been
go
losing
to
our
rest, it always
concept?
seems to be winter.
Have you
I
just
mean,
been
we
losing-
normally live underground. Seasons aren't normally that big of a thing for us.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
don't have to
that's
deal
what I
with
said. Have we
snow
just
on a
been-
day-to-day basis.
Have we been using our, just our internal clock of the outside world?
We just like pop our head out and go, what the heck is all this snow doing? Oh, it's December.
You guys are groundhogs.
I recognize the calendar.
If the
This
dwarf
dwarf-
pops its head out of the hole and sees its shadow, there will be.
If the dwarf comes out, says nope, and goes back in, winter will continue for another 2 months.
I recognize that it says January on the calendars, but I do not recognize that it is winter until I see it for myself.
Yeah, just like, oh, January, cool.
Yeah,
Go
but
above ground.
honestly,
Why is it
underground is so
cold?
much better. The weather's so much more stable.
So
Yeah.
as you guys get up into, actually, just to put you on the right map, getting into the city itself, you're traveling through the roads, which are not in the best shape during the winter because a lot of people don't take much care to remove their waste and garbage and other things from the streets. But
Mhm.
getting up into the Green Ward, even in the depths of winter, it's still a very beautiful area that people spend a lot of time in, and it's one of the few places in the city where the snow hasn't just been smashed down and compacted, it's actually been shoveled.
Huh.
And they've taken the time to make sure all of the places have basically been cleared out. This is where you'll find certain temples that'll offer rest to the poor, and some of the temples here act as kind of like shelters during the winter. But then getting past that and into the castle ward itself, it is super serene. Because other than the roads and very specific paths, the snow is absolutely untouched and glittering in the sun.
Beautiful.
It is a clear blanket of white that decorates this very well taken care of section of the city. Finally arriving at the castle itself, the castle is not one that was made as a status symbol for the royal family. There is a kind of brutal practicality to it, but it still does bear the resemblance to the great wealth of the family von Draken. Stained glass windows and large flat. Actually, yes, that wouldn't be too pleasant for you guys, would it?
No.
No.
That would freaking hurt.
We pull out our darkened quartz sunglasses.
Good.
Anyways, the
It's a
stained
style
glass
choice.
windows depicting key events of the family von Draken, and some of them even depicting some of the scenes where family Draken. It's hard for you to tell. It's either acquired or negotiated with their city dragon to gain its protection. Who, at this moment, you do see a dragon that looks like it is covered in leaves and branches, sitting atop the battlements, staring down at the guest. It doesn't say or do anything. In fact, it's still enough to almost look like a statue, only revealed by the subtle up and down of its chest as it breathes. The creature's still very young, not anywhere near as powerful as the creatures that you have fought in the past. But it's still an imposing figure.
Oh, that's so cool. I want to go speak to it, but I can't.
Do you even know Draconic?
I believe so. I should know
Just every
Jack.
time we see one, it's the flashback to our GG characters where you just want to go, child!
Child.
There's me as a player. It's like ready to cry. It's like, that's my boy.
Good. I have to remember
You-
now that everyone can understand me regardless of language.
Is that something you can turn on and off?
I don't think so, no.
That sucks!
That does.
Tongue of Sun and Moon.
You understand all spoken. Any creature that can
Wow.
understand a language can understand. That's actually terrible.
That is a big fuck you. Because what are they trying to be? What are you just trying to say something in that language they want to understand, and they just like hear it perfectly.
Try to curse in
no words.
Dwarvish, but everyone just hears shit.
Anyways, as you are brought into the first foyer, it is a large, long hallway that you see windows and banners disguising obvious kill holes that are meant to defend the castle in a time of war. But the entire room is decorated in elaborate murals and mosaics along the walls that depict humans fighting in gallant wars, knights fighting dragons, and things from like fairy tales. It kind of gives you the vibe that a lot of the family dragons seem to have, is that they really appreciate old fairy tales and the code of chivalry. It's a very traditional feeling kind of aesthetic that they've gone for, even for the humans.
Hmm.
As you are brought into the banquet hall, it is about equal to the foyer that you came into, and it has, can't remember how many chairs I wrote out.
Lots.
A lot. So after all guests are gathered in the grand hall of Castle Von Draken, you are seated in accordance with your importance to the town of Rest. But there are no tables with seats, and only rows of chairs surrounding the large banquet table in the middle. You are placed far from the royal family, probably as far as you can get. No food has been brought out, and candlelight is the only thing that lights this dim room. Most people are engaged in idle chatter among their sitting groups, so they're still sitting, but they're like talking with each other.
Yeah.
There are large fur cloaks draped over the back of each chair. What does the dwarf party talk about in this time?
Well, just kind of like, just
Let's see. Well,
Or is the
first
dwarf
off,
party eerily silent and eavesdropping on other groups?
well, no.
Oh.
First off,
Rude.
Sam's gonna take a quick survey of the room to see who's like looking at us.
Yeah,
who's
kinda
nervous, real quick?
perception.
The noble lords are looking at you because of all the people who are most likely to offend you, it is them.
Oh, that's not
Okay.
intimidating at all.
Who's seated next to us?
Seated next to you. Would actually be the night band leaders.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
are we next?
Just-
Please somebody next to Nathan, please.
Nathan has positioned himself to be right next to you guys. Yes.
Alright, cool. We'll
Wonderful.
just start talking about it. Like,
Where's Cornelius in
How's it
relation?
going?
So the way it's lined up is like after you guys, it's Nathan, Cornelius, Albert, Albrecht.
yeah. Yeah.
Is anyone on the other side, or is that just the end of the row?
You are the end of the row.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, obviously, what importance of rest to rest do we have now? besides
Exactly.
being a
I don't think
fucking
we're
enigma?
offended.
Yeah,
No.
we're not offended.
No.
It's just it's
We have
just
very
realizing,
little
yeah,
to
we
do
we
with
are
Rex
truly
other
enigma
than just
at
like,
the
hey, we're buddies.
It's essentially like Sam's just gonna go up and be like, Nathan, like, I didn't, and of course he's gonna be like, thank you so much for the invitation of us being here.
Of course,
know.
it's great to have you guys.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. Supposedly,
Yeah.
there's brandy from one of the monasteries.
Oh, we've
Oh,
we've had the pleasure of drinking some of that.
It's
It's
so good.
delicious.
That's fantastic.
I'm very excited. It's been a long time since I've had some.
Yeah.
I think I was in
Ugh.
my early 20s.
Ooh.
Wow, you
And I'm
literally
just thinking, oh
sound-
no, everyone's gonna get smashed.
Yeah. Torek has the thought of, wait a minute, how old is Nathan now?
He's probably 40s, 50s.
Just like, wait a minute, age, humans. That, what?
Are you saying this out loud?
No, this is in her head.
Chapter is gonna be, you're so lucky. I didn't get mine till I was, well, right up to like a year and a half to 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Man.
a couple of years ago is the first time I've had brandy. Especially from the
It does
monastery.
seem like a lot of dwarves come out of the holds.
No, they're
Until all of them do.
you know dwarves.
Yeah.
We must perfect our craft to the best of our abilities.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I will not engage in such stereotypes.
Hey, we said
Honestly, there's just a lot less snow underground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
I very much understand that.
we know our way underground, so we often use it for travel.
I mean, the snow's higher than your head. That's kind of inconvenient.
Yeah.
Sifter has a full
Like,
belly
I'm the
grin
most
and, like,
agile of us, and even
laughing.
I still have trouble with the snow.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
imagine Torg is just like
inconvenient.
Legolasing along the top of the
Yes.
snow next to you.
Yeah.
Just
Everyone
like,
else like
we hate you, Torg.
Just,
Xanther.
it's
If I
just
remember
inconvenient.
correctly,
I can't imagine
Torg-
what the rest of you are dealing with.
Right after the war, didn't you spend like 2-3 months wandering around the city looking for Cornelius?
It wasn't that long. It was, what, a few weeks? Something like that? A month at most. Let's just say my
We
ability
were
to
starting to
find
think she was
things
never coming back.
has
Yeah.
not gotten
We're kinda-
better.
Kind of worried.
Yeah, Cornelius really tries to make himself hard to find, he says, elbowing Cornelius in the ribs. Who just kind of like looks over at him and he just says, "That's the point."
You do a good job.
hey, I mean, Dennis.
Speaking of which, Cornelius, how have you been? Haven't seen you in a while.
It has been a long time, Doric. It has been a time.
Oh
I'm
dear.
coming to terms with my age,
Hmm.
and I'm not terribly happy about it. And well, my daughter is none too gentle about it either.
Has she cooled off any? Is she going to square up as soon as she
No.
sees me?
Yes,
Oh god. Not again.
it's something we're working on, especially as she is supposed to be slated to take over for me in the next 3 or 4 years.
Oh.
That's weird thinking that he just said when Cornelius says like, oh, I'm coping with my age. Maybe he just kind of like raises his chin, like cheers to that.
Well,
It's
all
like
the
his
more
dog's,
reason
like,
for me
starting
to
crack.
refuse her challenges, if she's supposed to be working
No,
on
please
that.
beat the crap out of her next time you see her.
Oh.
Hey, we got his approval. Jarek, you got his approval.
I
She
got his
needs more
approval.
humbling. She's becoming more and more
Yes.
skilled, and I appreciated the silence that you generated the last time you met her.
Ooh.
She
Is she
is a
gonna
good
be-
fighter, but
Join us here.
you know, the one time she beat me, she resorted to dirty tricks. So, we'll see
Is
if I
that
can
not
handle
the
those
point
dirty
of fighting?
tricks. I mean, I suppose. It's just not something I'm used to as a dwarf.
I suppose.
But I'll do my best.
So this continues on until about 30 minutes after the sun sets and the moon has just begun to rise in the sky. This is going to be a lot of exposition. I'm sorry, I
Cool.
had fun.
Give us the lore.
The sky is dark and the candlelight does little to alleviate the oppressive shadows. Subtly, the room begins to die down in chatter as King Helmer concludes his conversation with his brother. Suddenly, a crash at the door flings the solid oak panels wide, and a fur-cloaked figure wearing a mask of bone, carved in the likeness of a raging barbarian, strides into the room and stands atop the central banquet table. Eyeing the king, the figure shouts a wordless cry and flings his arms wide. The window shutters and doors to the room all fling open to the man's thaumaturgic cry, and the bitter winter wind sweeps through the room, snuffing out all lights and filling your nostrils with a chilling bite. Silence fills the room as all remain silent. Quickly, the barbarous man races towards the back of the banquet hall with a war cry, chasing some unseen foe and exiting through the back door, his soft fur boots making only dull thuds. An acrid smell then fills your nostrils as a man in black leather with red sleeves calmly walks in from the flung wide doors. The smell of burning flesh emanates from the man, and you see a subtle glow coming from between his fingertips. He reaches the center of the room just before the banquet table, when he opens his hands and tosses a glowing hot ember into a brazier prepared with oil. As the brazier begins to ward off the winter chills, servants come. I couldn't make it through that sentence. Okay, let me find my thought again.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just couldn't help myself.
Servants come from behind. Wait, no. servants come from behind you bearing torches and begin to light small fires in small fireplaces all around the room. Finally comes a procession of woodsmen, each bearing a varying number of strange bone symbols on their necks that bear many roast beasts between them on wooden platters. The men are followed by large hunting dogs that follow with silent obedience. The procession marches one by one to the king and place their offerings, which are quickly and orderly scooped up by servants behind him and placed on the banquet table. Servants appear behind you, bearing a number of custards, casseroles, and cakes, and beckon for you to follow.
You follow.
We'll follow.
The servants walk with you wordlessly offer the platter to the king and escort you back to your seats, just as other groups symbolically offer their tithes to the king. Finally, as the settings have been made and food prepared, a massive silver chalice with the images of dragons holding the cup is filled with wine and is distributed among the nobility and knight commanders of the city. The ceremonies finished, all members present follow the lead of the king, getting up from their chairs and assembling small plates of food from the banquet tables, while they break into smaller groups and cliques. This is not a perfect adaptation of what I'm looking for, but this is what it would kind of look like.
Ooh, fancy.
Ooh.
Nice.
So what I'm getting is the first fur man was Tyr, I assume.
You are free to interpret.
Nah.
No, well, that
Goes
was
up,
Tyr
screams,
praying,
refuses to elaborate, leaves.
It was Orme,
Yeah, that-
for
Honestly,
sure.
that's a mood.
Well,
Yeah.
no. Orme is the hunters with the hunting
know.
hounds.
Yeah.
I know.
I just assume Tyr is the guy that screams bloody murder and runs off after another the foe's a man. Oh,
So- There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of general groups that you can go try and shoulder your way into. I have them in my notes as the heavy hitters, so the trade princes, Dragon Prince Imric, and King Helmer,
Mhm.
the nobles, the religious leaders, and the military leaders.
all right.
These are all posted and pinned in.
I will give everyone a bardic inspiration.
All right.
Group huddle, doing a great job.
Wait. Besides one, I'm not giving it. But Emil kind of sucks in social situations. Oh no.
Emil can just be one of ours, or like one of our, just kind of like
He
we
It's
can just
decent charisma.
introduce her. Yeah, we can just introduce him as he's our young ward that we are teaching
Yeah.
greater.
You got
He's,
that, Emil?
I guess I'll give everybody but Emil a bardic inspiration.
Well, the question is, who was trying to talk to which group?
Well, we need to talk to like some of the trade princes, don't we?
Yes.
I think just
Where
specifically
is-
Victor.
Yeah.
Where's Ederic going? I guess. What is he going to tackle?
I kind of want to fill in for whoever doesn't go to one of the groups. I want to get all of them kind of checked off.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we can metagame this and say we go to everywhere else, but the heavy hitters. Send Edric over there.
They would find that perfectly acceptable if you don't want to handle that kind of a touchy conversation.
That sounds good.
Yeah, because
Are we okay
I'm
with
sure
this?
he knows
Yeah.
much more about what we need in terms of livestock
Yes.
than we do. But
Yes.
that's his
Yeah.
area, not ours.
and
Yes.
Mamir's probably gonna go too. He wants to just talk with the guy of Gone. Really, just have a nice chill conversation with him, and then probably go over to the eavesdrop and probably give some comments on the one of, I'd say, the the warriors, but the more the military leaders. But only speak when Nathan or Cornelius really is speaking. Like speak after them, kind of like boost up the pros. You know.
So
Boost
the
up
way I'm really gonna handle this is just to simplify things. I want each of you to pick one.
Okay.
So what are so Ederic is going towards the heavy hitters. Then there's the religious one, the the night bands.
Yeah, military leaders and noble
Hmm.
houses.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Religious leaders.
Noble houses.
Yeah, military leaders, religious leaders, nobles, and major the head dogs of the Vale.
Hmm.
I mean, I could also go to the major leaders as well.
Yeah.
I can either see that or religious leaders or military. Fuck. Oh,
I'm
Can go wherever
going
choices.
either military or religious leaders.
All right.
I
seems
can
like more
see you
people-
go military. I can see you going military for Toric.
Yeah, like I've already
I'll make a
conversed
decision.
with
I'm
two
going
of them.
religious leaders.
Okay.
All right. I will go to the noble houses then. See what their vibe is.
All right.
I guess then at that point I feel like I don't know. I might be overthinking this.
I mean, some of us are gonna have to double up just numbers wise, so just go where you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
No.
thinking-
No. For
Where
sure.
are we putting
I just don't know.
Emil, who are you following around?
Emil should go with religious leaders because
Yeah.
he's the next
That's
coming
probably a
off.
good idea.
Yeah, he's well.
He's
Emil
he's
seems
the-
like the
yeah.
the next generation of our priest. Effectively,
Yeah.
we'll just call him that. He's effectively our greatest candidate to do this shit.
He's your
Mhm.
only
And then-
candidate.
Yeah. he's
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
candidate At the moment,
And then okay.
I'll go to noble houses.
Yeah, I'm looking at either noble houses or the major leaders. I could go and join Ederic for major leaders because I've my tackled aside just from bouncing around so much, right?
I
in the
mean,
Karak.
I feel like
But-
I've I feel like sending you and Edric to the major leaders would be a pretty good move because where Edric is I have all the numbers and things written down. He's the smarts by the books guy, whereas you're the smarts by the streets type of guy.
Yeah.
It's good to have you two go together. You know, you can bounce off each other.
And like Toric is already like the most willing to like network type deal. So military leaders
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Yeah,
I'll
just-
go
just do
with
one-
Ederic
just
for
do
major
one shot
leaders.
For, just do one shot for what's his name? Fucking the races.
The racists.
Gyarados?
Yeah,
Gyarados.
Gyarados. I don't want
Gyarados we're not chill with.
Yeah,
Bad
I don't,
Gyarados.
I don't want to say my friend's name and fucking.
We'll call him Gary.
All right, yeah, go
Gary.
talk to Gary.
Don't call him that in the game.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously,
That would be funny.
it would be, but then
It'd be a terrible idea, but for the 30
It'd be
seconds before
terrible
doing this,
idea.
it would be funny.
Yeah.
yes. All right. All right. I think we're down. We're good.
Everyone, type out which group you're going to.
Let's see.
Why is there a U in major?
Okay, I write things with the U
British.
with British spelling. I
Are
know.
you British?
Or like, then I spell armor like that.
I spell armor. I spell color. I spell major.
You're
Harbor.
wrong.
Into the pond.
Into the fun.
Don't worry about Ethan. The only one that has full roots down in it has roots that all the way back in America. It says armor with the with the U in there.
So, Michael,
Yes.
as you're heading over to the group of the nobles, you begin to hear a conversation that is not too pleasing to you.
Uh-oh.
Of the four nobles, three of them are discussing the legality of your carrick and whether or not
Great.
it is actually within lands claimed by Rest.
Hmm.
Before they notice that you're there, let's see. Andreas is basically talking about, do we have any grounds to begin attempting to levy a tax on them?
Oh my god.
Oh.
I will throw your tea in the harbor.
How do you try and get yourself into this conversation?
Just
Whoa.
interesting point. Counterpoint. Fuck you.
Rude.
Ooh, this is gonna be because me thinking about it, it is all right. How are you gonna get the taxes to us? Hey, how's the tax collector? No, this is player me saying that. It's all right. How's the tax collector supposed to get us? And also me in the head is all right. You guys accept possibly cursed money from
We will
me?
pay your taxes in rocks
I just
and
kind of
fire lichen.
let's see. This is an interesting one because I probably picked the worst one from here. Thanks, guys.
You chose it.
You
Why
chose
blame
that.
us? You said I want to go nobles. All right.
Yeah, because all right, Edric's going to handle the big hitters. Fuck it, I'll just do whatever. No one wants.
There's a reason nobody wanted it.
Yeah, there's a reason why.
Nobles suck.
Yeah, I just God, this is this is an interesting conversation to jump into. But because I'm like so tempted to just be like, mm-hmm. I kind of butt in and says, well, gentlemen, this is that is all good to hear. As I kind of say,
Magical tax evasion.
if if there was supposed to be a taxation of my people, I would probably like it be written down by the king and our own um was it Council of Lords first before
This
before
seems to really make two of them very happy. One of them pretty neutral, and Marquis Guillard being like almost disappointed. As before you even finish your sentence, Andreas almost cuts you off and says, "But you would be open to it then, a taxation from the Kingdom of Rest?"
Oh god.
Well,
These
As
nobles
we do give
suck.
you a great deal of protection from the above ground threats of the goblins.
Oh, I could not have handled these guys.
All of us X'd it out.
yeah, no. Um I I personally would need to see a full agreement first before I can fully make my
International.
full statement on that. From preferably the higher nobility, i.e., the king.
Well, surely you must understand, Master Dwarf, that the king does not necessarily handle such simple and easy to handle matters. This is something that the nobility discuss. The small things, the everyday runnings of the kingdom. Yes, those are all things. We get a seal from the king, but he doesn't read it. You must understand that, yes.
So,
And as to be such an important dwarf to be invited to the king's very own feast festival of the Winter's Veil, you have some sort of standing that you could make an agreement with the city and the dwarves.
Hmm.
It is at this point. How does Mimir react to that?
uh, Mimir just says, I do not put myself above any other dwarf. I am merely a servant of my people.
Andreas kind of wrinkles his nose at that. Marquis Giard seems to appreciate that sentiment a lot more, and he kind of breaks his own silence by saying, Gentlemen, gentlemen, must we be discussing such heavy issues right now? I think I would rather be engaging in some more lighthearted banter, perhaps about more of the philosophical boundaries that we might draw between each other. Tell me, Master Dwarf, how do the people see themselves amongst the other dwarfs of the Vale? What are the separations between you and their cultures? I've
I
experienced
really,
some of Carrick as Gull, but I know very little about them. How do you
that is,
separate yourselves? Are you subservient to them, or do you govern yourselves?
we govern ourselves, but we do take great, great influences from Asgul, especially that of our religious leader. We, I'd even say, a couple of us did have some minor beefs with him, but it seems like at the moment, he is being favorable to us, and we are favorable to him, and that is the majority of our connection. Besides some own personal connections ourselves, I with familial responsibilities, we are more of a self-governing, self self-societing society.
Self-governing as in what form? In what form does any legislation come out of your... You had mentioned a group of lords, a council of lords at the beginning of this conversation, did
Yes,
you not?
yes. Uh, Me and my other attendees here are a few of us are lords of the greater houses, and some of us are ones of lesser houses. I am of the lesser house, um, Dark Iron,
The Dark Iron
and
House. Similar to the greater
yes,
clan up in Carrick Asgal, if I remember correctly from my lessons as a boy.
yes, our families have greater connections there. Well, me and a couple of us that hail from Dark Iron uh, stick together as Dark Irons, and but the other greater houses go down the list is the Hornbellies that point out Samter.
Hmm.
I point out both Edric and Cathra, the lords of the Iron, the Frost Irons.
And are those two married?
No, they are brother and sister.
Oh,
We see it as the sister keeps the brother in check, the brother keeps the sister in check.
but neither of them holds any more power over the other?
At the moment, yes,
Then who breaks any stalemates between the two?
everyone else.
So they would allow people from outside of their own house to interfere within their own businesses?
Um, at the moment, kind of.
I must say that is a very, very different form of structure than our own here in Rest.
Yes, it is
Each of
also
the noble
very.
houses tend to stay to their own and maintain some equilibrium among a patriarch.
Yes, this is our group is starting to turn out differently, as as even in Asgol there is greater structure within our more or less the houses, the great clans to keep themselves in check. But as we have started to see that lifestyle does not fit with our small Carrick, and we have have begun to more or less be able to try to start up more of a hey, let's try to figure out this out together situation. Unless it is, unless that house consistently says no, this is a personal matter. No matter all means, it is own personal. No one else should get involved. We leave it at that.
You can tell that Giard really appreciates this perspective, but the other three basically wrinkle their noses in the same way a group of like 60s Americans would if
Oh,
you said, "Oh,
God.
I'm a communist."
Oh
Oh
yeah, I understand.
God.
Because you are communists at this point.
Yeah, we
Sort
have
of.
to be.
We are a commune. I
There's not enough of us to come up with these, elaborate social structures. It just
Yeah.
wouldn't be worth the time.
Yes, I do. I do also bring that up. It's on my great lords. You do wrinkle your nose, but there is, at the moment, all we are but a small handful, effectively trying to create a small town. And when the future time comes that the legislation needs to change, it shall change.
Andreas takes this moment to try and you can tell it's a little predatory. So perhaps this Carrick Zarum should fall under the legislations of rest until they are able to come up with their own legislative bodies. Would you
You.
not find that amicable? Somebody to handle the logistics and legalisms behind your activities?
I do account for that, but I do also say, does the legal teams of rest and does the legal teams above in this city mainly of humans of mine know every culture about the dwarves and know when to push questions and when to because and also more or less yeah who's does your legislative body know how to deal with the dwarves and dwarven customs because those can go far deep down and some of us in the Carrick are still firm believers of all the old ways.
I have no doubt that these old ways might be important, but surely there's nothing that a little bit of coin couldn't smooth over.
Bruh. No wonder other dwarves have gotten offended at these guys.
I'm starting to see where the wars came from.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
the nobles suck.
Well, yeah, this is definitely where the wars came from. As he says that, as O'Neill points out, that too is extremely important. If you if you don't deal with the right coin, don't deal with the right time, you it is more or less there's going to be some very strong opinions from probably my other fellow kinsmen that I do not want to say at the moment.
Can you roll me a persuasion check?
All right.
You can add the bardic to it. It's a
Yep.
D10, I believe now.
Yep.
Maybe a D12. I'll double check really fast. A D2. It's currently a D12.
Ooh. Nice. I'll have to edit that in my sheet.
14.
Oh, it's D12, right?
Yeah.
That was a D10. Give me a second.
Oh,
God damn it.
10.
Bruh.
I'm gonna save my inspiration for the major leaders.
All right.
Andres kind of leaves it at that. he feels like he's pushing some boundaries that even he is like, this isn't worth it. It's a tiny little character that's gonna fizzle out anyways. Who cares?
Damn it.
That's
luck
the
about it.
general attitude he has to that. Marquis Ard kind of looks over at you, and he has this just kind of like apologetic look on his face.
At the end of this wall, if we're all breaking up, Josh, I kind of say, don't worry about it. Okay?
Ah,
Let's see, which group do I do next? Let me
Fuck,
go
I do enhance
scoot back through all of your guys' gossip. Let's handle the military leaders,
All right.
and that is just Torek.
Yeah.
yes.
All right, so Torek, as you're coming over to this group, they're talking about something that you obviously expected them to be talking about. The next Goblin Horde.
Hmm.
By best estimations from Garithos and his gathering, he says that this one is going to be longer to build up, but larger based on the current structure of the Goblin tribes and the mysterious disappearance of the Black Knife tribe.
Huh.
Generally, they seem to be split into two groups. Albert von Gruff and Rome want to basically go, well, Albert von Gruff, Rome, and Garithos all want to go on a crusade into the mountains to
Hmm.
wipe out another two more goblin tribes
Hmm.
so as to shake up the structure from last time and create greater tension between them. And then Albert von Draken and very weakly Baelgund just think that this is not the time to be sending a bunch of people into the dragon death trap that is the Weresmoke Mountains.
Hmm.
How do you enter into this conversation?
Oh, I don't know. That's an interesting conversation to enter.
Reading some
Uh,
classes. Actually,
it's
as a person who's gone across the Marshmallows,
Jesus Christ, he would.
Have you tried getting good?
have you tried just getting good? You ever just have a party of level 13 adventure?
I suppose I will
It's okay,
enter
maybe.
with a just like as someone who has personally been through the worm smokes multiple times, it is not a place to just crusade into.
Cornelius is a little taken back that you're taking that stance. Or at least what he perceives as an opposing stance to his own. Please elaborate.
Well, for one, by my own experience, I have encountered vampires in the Wormsmoke Mountains in a specific mine shaft. I have also
Albert is triggered on this.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
What do you mean vampires?
Vampires spawn
Pointy
at
teeth.
least. Pointy
Ones
teeth.
that go blah blah blah. Bite people on the
Yes.
neck.
Yes. I myself was bitten, but was not turned.
Please give me as many details as you can about this.
Great.
Are you sure?
Say number
Yes.
2, let's go.
The undead are the greatest threat to the common people of Rest, over even the goblins. Especially something like a vampire.
All right then. Well, do I still have that map in my back pocket? Aha, I do. Yes. Pulls out a map and directs that, like, yes, this is underground in the Wormsmoke Mountains, so it is hazardous for humans. But there are vampires, or at least what remains of a vampire spawn encampment, in this mine shaft here. I believe
Did
it
you kill their
has-
lord?
Out of character, did we? I don't think we did.
Isn't that where we got our Carrick from?
Yeah, we killed the Lord.
Those were vampires? I was talking about
Yes.
the oogity
Yeah.
spookity mineshaft we put Samter's thingy next to.
Yeah, I know, but the
Yeah.
Lord was over in the
Oh.
old dwarven encampment.
Yeah,
Just
and
like-
that we did with the silver hand.
Yeah. We did actually
We
kill the
took out the
Lord.
Lord.
It just so happens to be where Carrick's now stands.
Would you swear on it?
I swear it. He is dead multiple times over.
Can you make me a persuasion check?
Alrighty. Where's my character sheet? Here it is. Oh, do I want to use my inspiration for this? My bardic for this? Fuck it,
Wait,
why
what
not?
the fuck was the captain's name? What the fuck was the captain's name?
Who, the knight? Balador.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Balador.
Yeah. If you need further proof, the Knight Balador of the Silver Hand can provide his own personal story behind it.
I don't trust some foreigner up from the north. It's at this moment that you see Albert just kind of like descending into some sort of mental, like, just basically a feedback loop.
Oh,
But it's
dear.
kind of it's kind of cut short when Cornelius, being a towering man who is an equal height to Albert, who is about 6'8",
Damn.
puts his hand on his shoulder and kind of leans in and whispers a few things to him, and Albert just takes in a deep breath and lets it out and says, "I'm sorry. I was taken off track of the current discussion. We're talking about goblins."
Not at all a problem. But not to mention that if you plan to go inside the Wormsmoke Mountains, you may have to deal with purple worms. Yes, they are down lower in elevation than most other things, but they are there, and they are hungry.
There's no such. This is Garethos. There's no such mention of purple worms in the mountains.
Without, I mean no offense, but where do you think we got the eggs that
Oh.
our dishes are from?
I assumed you took some trips down into the dirt down below, but we're talking
were-
about the above ground, the important places, where the goblins nest.
Ah, yes, you shouldn't find any purple worms up where the goblins nest.
Then why bring it into the conversation?
Because there may be goblins down lower than the surface.
And why would they matter? They're not the ones who create hordes that then wash over our cities.
I suppose that's true enough. My mistake for bringing it up.
DM Justice trying to think of where this conversation would then go.
Voting dialogue.
I think Cornelius would be the next to try and like bring it back to the goblins and the ones above ground and ask, why do you think that now would not be a good time to try and thin their numbers even further after their devastating defeat 5 years ago?
You make a very good point there. I'm not sure I have an answer to that other than just the dangers of the worm smokes themselves.
Do you think that these dangers would be more troublesome and cost more lives than perhaps the chance of hindering the next horde or even pushing it back until we have been able to shore up our old buildings and defenses?
As for whether or not it's worth it, I'm not sure. But having been in the worm smokes, you may end up losing more men to the worm smokes themselves than to the goblins. But hindering the next horde does sound like a good idea. But if you were going to go into the worm smokes, you need to be prepared.
Prepared how? Albert asks.
Climbing gear. If you do happen to go into caves, the possibility of goggles of night or lanterns, as well as climbing gear. Climbing gear is incredibly important when scaling mountains.
Is there anything beyond the obvious? Garathos asks. Have you anything productive to contribute?
Out of character, that's an interesting question to pose, because I'm not sure.
Everybody generally knows the dangers of the worm smokes.
Yeah,
Everything
Yeah.
that we've encountered is below.
They have also
yeah, has been
encountered
inside the
problem.
worm smokes.
It's below the worm smokes.
Yeah,
Because they're talking about the goblin hordes that are above.
and we've
We
already
don't know
dealt with
anything
most of the
about that.
dragons.
Mm,
Mm, the
Well,
ones,
the ones that are obvious causing problems.
yes,
And the older ones, I think there's probably still a bunch of younger
Yeah.
ones running around.
yeah. It's
Yeah, which
we
younger
don't have
ones will-
enough. We
Yeah,
don't have enough information on above ground because we didn't really encounter
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
The dwarves
unless
Because
of
we don't go
Karazhan-
above ground, because why
Yeah.
would we?
I
the
mean,
dwarves of Karazhan do not have much experience with the above ground of the worm smokes, other than just traversing to the next cave. So, I do not have any input on that matter.
Garathos lets out a snort at that. Albrecht breaks his silence here, and he asks you a pretty quick and poignant question. Where do the dwarves of Zaroom stand in terms of a mutual defense alliance?
I feel as if it would be beneficial if we work
Would
together
you be
against the
willing to
goblins.
leave? Would you be willing to leave your Carrick to come to the defense of Rest if we were attacked?
Hmm. Given our current defenses, it may be a toss-up. We would need to bolster our own defenses in the future. But we may be able to help Rest.
Can you roll me a persuasion check?
Okay. I'm gonna use my inspiration for that. There we go.
He's really disappointed in that answer.
Hmm.
He's not going to push it any further, but that's a really disappointing answer. He was really hoping that you guys were going to act as a greater ally than Asgol has.
At the moment, we just
And-
don't have the defenses for it.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't matter to him.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
don't matter to us.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to this conversation?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Seeing as you have now balanced the kind of balanced the sides here, 3v3, the conversation continues on for a while until eventually Nathan just doesn't really see the point in all of the arguing, and he kind of cedes the position, says that it's a very big risk, but there does seem to be some merit in going into the mountains, especially if there's not any major risks that we know of and that we can find out of other than just the treacherous terrain of the mountains. Their numbers are small. They're disorganized at the moment, so if you guys do have a point in that. Now is the time to do something if we're going to.
Yeah.
Who do we do next?
God.
In
The
the
religious
future,
group.
out of character, I may have to do some research in Karaka's Gall on the threats above ground in the worm smokes.
If you want to take a military foothold, right, or like head military
Yeah.
efforts, yes, I would recommend it.
Lemire wants to. Lemire wants to go into those
It
mountains.
sounds like a good idea to take down the goblins while they're already down. So
Yes,
might as well
exactly.
figure out what other challenges we'll be dealing with.
Yeah, because giving us as much time to fortify as we possibly can before a horde hits us is very
Yeah.
much in our best interest.
Yes, but also that is in their best interest.
Like, I'm not
Especially
going to
now
talk
that
about
we,
that to them right now just because I don't want to make any promises. But, like, in the future, that is something I will be doing is research.
This is, I think. Yeah, I think the problem we came into this now is that we were like, oh shit, what government are we?
Yeah.
And everyone just kind of looked around and was like, we're fucking
We don't have one.
Yeah.
malarkey at this point.
We don't have one yet.
I
We're
mean,
all
we've been
nice
running
to
it
each
very
other.
democratically, and so if we're not all together for a conversation, we can't really
Yeah.
make
You're
decisions.
you're noticing a weak point in your guys' system.
Yeah.
It is very slow to respond.
Yes.
Yes, so
That's also just because of our current lack of resources and lack of people.
it's not lack of resources.
Lack-
It's just lack of speaking. I'm gonna say
Lack of
that.
speaking and lack of, I guess, in a way, unity.
Yeah.
Lack lack of someone having the big voice and saying "do it."
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's a better way of putting it rather than
Mhm.
lack
Eh.
of unity. Because there's
Yeah.
some parts where it's unity, but it's just more or less one group needs to just suck and shout, say, "Hey, let's fucking do it." And I
Yeah.
say,
I mean, we'll spend like an hour and a half like trying to decide what order to go to places in. So
yes.
Yeah.
until one of us finally yells the
At this
loudest,
point-
"We're going here! Shut up, everyone!"
So fucking after this, I say we just have a big ass conversation amongst
Yeah.
everyone in the carriage and say,
Because,
all
like,
right,
I do
who
kind of
the fuck
want
we
to
put in
take out the
top?
goblins while they're down, but, like, at the
Who the
moment, we're
fuck we
just
put on top?
low on, stuff. We are the best fighters
I
in
mean,
our
are
Karak.
we? I mean, yes, we are the best fighters in the Karak, but we also do have the fucking big boy to defend the
Well,
Karak.
we do have the
Big
big boy
boy
to
and
defend, yes, but we only have
a
one
lot of-
big boy.
But yes, but big boy is still
Big boy is
Big
big boy.
Big boy, we have glyphs of warding. We have a lot to
Yeah.
defend it.
With some preparation,
Yes.
we
Well,
could
it sounds
easily
like
join
they're
the fight.
being more offensive than defensive at the moment. So
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
yes.
Well,
Because the goblins are already down.
It's not now, but in the future,
Yeah.
right? But of course, our in the future is drastically
Yes.
different than
Like
humans.
20
Yeah,
years from now.
Because, like,
for us,
their in the
theirs is
future is
next year.
our a few years from now kind of deal.
Yeah.
Well, and think about this perspective. These guys are talking about the next horde that their children are going to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's take another quick break.
Okay.
Religious folk.
Yay.
How religious are you?
Kathra and Mimir are approaching, or Emil
Emil.
are
Kathra and
approaching,
Emil.
right?
The two clerics.
are you back, Evan?
He texted something.
I know, but he's still muted.
Nerd.
Evan,
Come on, man.
I need my emotional support child.
You've been
Oh,
AWOL
no.
for like two sessions now.
I'll be like, please let me be the acolyte that doesn't say anything.
Fuck yeah,
Oh, guess what? Boo hoo, Evan! You get to talk.
yeah,
No, you
boo-hoo, Evan,
you have to talk.
You have
Me
to
and-
engage in the story.
Yes, me and Torek already had to go through this bullshit. You at least get the nice people.
God,
We hope. We haven't
I
met them
doubt
yet.
it.
I hope Evan gets to plays a charisma-based character.
As
And
a
then we
what?
could be like, then we could
Yeah,
be
he
Evan.
has before.
You're the
He
face
has
of the
before.
party now.
He has
Oh.
before. It's just the problem. The problem was that Ulrich was standing right next to him.
See, what we need to do
Or had
is
too
we
much main
need,
character energy.
we need to get a Raspberry Pi that is attached to a taser that is attached to Evan's leg, so that anytime we have to spam him more than 5 times,
Oh.
it gives him 12 bolts to the thigh.
Oh,
Jesus.
Where
where's
did
the
the
Raspberry
Raspberry
Pi?
Pi come
Yeah.
into this?
The Raspberry
No.
Pi is the thing that's observing his
Yeah.
Discord.
Oh, it's
The
a
computer.
computer thing.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
The
it's a
Raspberry
You
Pi
just
is-
have like a legit Raspberry Pi, which sounds
Okay,
amazing.
yes,
by
I
the way.
It's
understand.
a
People don't know
Raspberry
what that
Pi
is.
coding
Yeah.
device thingy.
It's basically just lets you put like really basic inputs in. So
Yeah.
it's like
It's a fucking observer for Minecraft. Let's just say that.
yeah, it's an observer. I watched one recently. I'm on a tangent, but I thought it was so funny. Is of one of my kids showed me a video, and it was the first one in a long time that I was like, oh, this isn't garbage. It was the most ADHD VTuber I've ever seen playing Dark
Fillion.
Souls.
Oh
Oh.
god.
It was Fillion. Every time she
Oh,
died,
God.
she got zapped until she
Yeah.
beat the game.
Oh no.
She died
Okay,
11
I
times.
torture myself with Souls games, but I don't hate myself that much, goddamn.
She only died 11 times. She was actually
Wow.
really good.
That
Damn.
she became learnt.
I like
Anyways,
died that much today falling off of cliffs.
If I knew that
yeah.
it's creating electrical volts, I'm taking a shower.
dude,
Bruh. No.
Alright, okay,
Stop it.
So, the
Thank you.
The
conversation
pause of the cackle.
that
Alright.
you guys come into is basically them patting each other on the back that the festivities went well. Hey, this was great. And then the High Father of Palor kind of like gets them all to be quiet, and he says, I have a proposition.
Hmm.
I want to start something amongst the members of the Vale. I know that we are all centered here in Rest, but I want to create a temple council. Something to create equality among the different temples of the Vale and spread both funds and clergymen and women. He says, motioning over to the Sister of Saloon, to the more remote places. Most of this will involve a equalization of tithes among per capita members. How do you guys enter into this conversation?
Well, before we do that, can I ask, do we do anything like tithing among the dwarves?
It is typical to tithe about 5% of your income to the Temple of Moradin, which then spreads that out to the lesser temples.
Okay.
Shut your pie hole, Ethan. They're not nearly that bad. They can drink coffee.
Do they have coffee is the real question.
No.
Alright,
They
Ethan,
can drink
remember,
tea.
this is a tithe, not a pyramid scheme.
The Mormons have a 10% tithe.
Well,
That's pyramid scheme.
all Christians have a 10% tithe, but
Yeah,
the
all Christians
Mormons send it
have
to a
10.
centralized church,
Yeah.
which is the thing that I hate.
I'm mostly saying it because it's like so we can all be unified and then send the religions out to different places.
I
Mormons, no.
require, I require a 30% tithe for my private jet.
All right, Joel Olstein.
Ooh, my roll 20's trying to crash. Nice.
Oh
No.
no.
Our roll
It just pops up a connection warning sometimes and it does nothing, and I'm like, what? Why did you warn me? Nothing happened.
It's saying that because we're talking about religion now.
Also,
It tried to smite
so
me.
do you want to engage in this conversation first off? And if you do, how do you get into it? Because this would also mean that you could place a Temple of Moradin or other dwarven gods in Rest.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Do we want to? Well,
Yes.
A place for wayward dwarves to actually worship, as opposed to right now it's you're at a Carrick or you're screwed.
especially
Mhm.
for slayers
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm. I
Question
guess
Oh.
is,
Oh, we'll get a lot of points with the slayers. Oh,
yeah, your people.
yeah, your own people. The Karak, which has done nothing before, which has placed a temple in a place.
Anyways,
that they can
this
go.
isn't you.
Anyways, if Ethan's done ranting. I guess I'll go up and say basically that I can help it over here, but I think that sounds like an excellent idea, and that we do something sort of similar, just locally among the dwarves, where it all gets sent to the Temple of Mord and then redistributed throughout the other temples already.
And do you think it would be okay for... Do you wear anything that would indicate you as a cleric of Morden?
I mean, I'd be wearing my holy sigil symbol.
Do you think it would be okay for your god for some of those funds to be distributed among non-dwarven gods?
I mean, we are friends and allies with many different races. I would hope that they would not take it amiss. I personally don't have a problem with it.
And would you speak for your whole cleric, or would you be speaking only for your clergy?
Well, we're still operating fairly democratically at the moment as a smaller cleric, so I would like to consult with the others first. I'm not the only follower of Morden among our cleric, but I do not think they would be opposed.
And how much do you think would be... What do you think would be a fair service that, well, us here up in Rest in this much more populated society could provide for you, dwarves? And what traditions could we perhaps integrate into our own society as to maintain peace between the gods?
Well, having places for my kind to worship outside of the cleric would obviously be of great benefit to you. I know to us. I know your people don't tend to delve as far below and end up in the underways, so I'm a little bit less familiar with your general practices. Okay, could you repeat like the first part of that question?
What can we do for you? And are there any practices that we could integrate into our culture and society that would make a transition of a dwarf into a human dominated society easier?
That's a hard question. I'm trying to think of a good answer. Brain is loading.
I mean, honestly, you just don't insult their honor. It's a big thing.
Gonna have to
Well,
find
I'm
the
sure
oldest one.
it's pretty well known that many of us dwarves can be rather take our honor very seriously. I think just awareness of that in our general practices would go a long way. And I think
I understand it, but to us it's a very ambiguous thing, seemingly triggered by things that seem to just happen at random in conversation. How would you suggest we raise awareness? How would we communicate to the everyday man how to not offend a dwarf?
very understandable. I think having more interaction between our races would help a great deal with that. I know many clerics have been quite isolationist in the past. And I think that my own people could live to extend more grace to those who are not familiar with our customs and do not mean to offend. So perhaps just coming up with some sort of list of boundaries would be helpful.
A list, like a pamphlet.
Yes.
Okay.
How to
There's a
interact
lot
with a
better
dwarf.
It's
And maybe
during...
to the dwarves how to chill the F out.
Yeah.
There is
How
one
to
other
relax.
member here that a lot of the other clergy don't really have a lot of interest in you, but there's
That's
one
fine.
man who is curious in this conversation And he speaks up. Stefan, if we
Go.
are to be
See?
sharing things between our cultures, would the dwarves be willing to share some of their techniques?
Hmm.
Oh.
Is there anything specific that you're interested in
My people still lack the ability to work with adamantine.
with adamant? Well, I think that would be a question perhaps better fitted for our engineers and other tradespeople. We do tend to keep those secrets close, but perhaps some form of negotiations could be opened.
Can you make me a persuasion check?
I can try.
Mhm.
Nerds.
Give me that verdict.
Give me that 12.
Give me that
Yeah.
D12.
That's
Well,
what-
I can't guidance because no subtle spell, so gotta take what I can get. Where like
That's
persuasion?
right.
There it is.
Damn it.
16.
Not
Oh,
bad.
that's good.
That's not
See?
bad.
He feels as if you have given him a deflection and not a serious consideration. That much is obvious on his face.
I mean, he's not entirely wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's a call I can make by myself.
Why not?
And the cracks of our society.
She's not an engineer.
Exactly.
She's a cleric of Morden.
Yeah.
The cleric
make
of
a
Morden, not the
decision.
queen.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Wow, Josh.
Edric is still planning. How do I shovel as much responsibility onto Cathro as much as I can?
Catherine, I got a
from me.
prank. You're the queen now.
All right.
Hey,
That's
Catherine,
me.
got your new share. Wait a second.
You,
Yeah,
you
we-
were very
Queen, bitch.
tactful. You were very tactful about that,
Yeah.
and you handled that pretty well. So they really don't have a lot of conversations with you. But the High Father and the Sister of Saloon are very. Basically, they're like, hey, we have the time. Let's just start on the pamphlet now. Let's just start asking this dwarf a billion different questions about
Oh,
what
God.
actually makes you angry.
Catherine will do her best to go over every hot button issue she can think of and how to avoid them.
She has lived with this group probably even like the iron. She just has to look at the fucking dark irons and be like, all right, what pisses them off?
Secondary pamphlet. What makes Tharden annoyed?
What makes Tharden?
Yeah.
What makes old grumbly bastards
What
like
makes old
these two
boomers annoyed?
Yeah.
And now we go
Uh,
to the heavy hitters.
Yep.
Simter, as you're approaching, King Helmer is currently discussing with the trade princes a topic that seems very ordinary to you. Emmerich is not interested in this conversation whatsoever, and he sees you as a hopeful chance to change it. You see that expectation on his face. As you hear that they're talking about how to create a road to the city of Stormwind in the south by spanning the endless plains.
Hmm.
Oh.
They're manifesting
Currently,
their destiny.
That
how
does sound like a boring
no.
topic.
I mean, this would eventually result in cities popping up, but this is more just like the endless plain is a butt crack and a half to get across. Can we just make a road? And then that devolved into a billion different variables. Helmer is focusing on the manpower that's going to take. The trade princes are doing what they normally do in talking about tariffs
Hmm.
and the monetary cost. They're throwing around numbers in the millions of gold.
Bruh.
I'll look over to Edric and I'm like, I'm so lost.
You're better at putting things into words. What do you... group huddle. Here, desserts. He's like dragging you over to the dessert table so that you can talk like as you're picking things out.
Yeah.
How do we contribute to roads?
Have you considered tunnels?
We have spellcasters.
We have spellcasters, but what can they do? I don't understand anything about that. I can barely swing a sword.
They can well, we can help create roads. Done that way.
By doing
There's a spell called Wall of Stone, essentially, which essentially just creates a X by X long piece of stone, right? Which can lay the groundwork, which can make you go quicker.
Isn't that
That's
what you
something.
guys are using to build the carrick itself, though?
Yes.
Can you do that all day?
Only limited amount of times, unless we have spell scrolls. Then we can do it with spell scrolls. But it itself, like thinking, how many times could Emir do it per day?
All right, I accept this. I fully gave Sander the fucking blank check. I will say that.
Well, I'm
I can
just
do it.
asking so I can explain
I can
it
do it 4
to.
times
Can
a
we
day.
just trade Mimir to rest?
So
Okay, that's fine.
Mimir himself, right, can do it 4 times a day. It's a pretty high level spell, so that could be helpful. I mean, we always have the tried and true. We can go underground. That's
I
the
mean, we
thing.
can, but the whole thing isn't. It's that the underways don't go much further south than this.
That's true. I mean, we could try to extend them, but that
Do
just
you
lead
think
to
that's a more cost effective? These people are all about numbers, dude. Is that going to be more cost effective than just flattening some plains?
no, because you have to actually physically mine through it.
That's what I assumed, but
Yeah,
you know better.
I don't think it would cost. I mean, okay,
So we can offer just Mimir
and Emil.
and Emil,
Emil can cast Wall of Stone, right?
Catherine.
Or can he? Or Stone Shape? You can cast Stone Shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do stone shape. I can't do a wall of stone. That's not a cleric spell. Unless Emil's got some weird forge cleric nonsense.
I accept
Nah,
this.
I
I
got stone
accept
shape.
this.
We
I
can't.
accept
Okay,
this.
so
Although,
we
are we just trading ourselves off to road building now?
Well, it's I'm trying to somehow interject in the conversation.
Knowing dwarves, they're as straight as Roman roads.
So, like, we could help on the way. We have to look at help. What other things could we like either deflect towards or do something like that?
How easy do you think it'd be to build a checkpoint?
Fairly easy, actually. If we could help build a checkpoint,
Like the dwarf bridge.
yeah, we could. Oh my God, we could.
Do you think that's a good way to interject? Be like
Possible.
highway patrol?
Yeah,
Oh, we got this.
we can help. Yeah, we can help build the checkpoints along the way.
We are now customs.
How much do you? No, that's not a question for you. Do you
Alright,
think it'd
Josh.
be reasonable to ask for a toll if we built checkpoints?
If we built, I mean, if we ask for percentage, I told possibly.
Nah, I think a flat rate is probably going to be better.
Okay.
Well, it's going to appeal to the nobility more,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the people who finance these things.
Yeah.
So you go interject, he says, picking up a donut and then pushing you on the back.
All right. Okay. How do I interject in? Oh, fuck. Oh no. I know I do it to myself. You don't have to say it.
Don't overthink it.
I don't know.
All of us and our chronic social anxiety out here.
Santer.
Oh no, social anxiety in my social campaign. Oh no.
Santer. And just walking in, say if us dwarves of the Zaroom below could help in making the checkpoints along the road. We have several capable spellcasters that can help erect such things.
And would you be, this is King Helmer, and would you be so interested in to man those checkpoints, or would you be proposing that an external party would man such checkpoints, Master Dwarf?
As of right now, our Karak does not have enough manpower to man the checkpoints, so we would have to rely upon a third-party source to help man them.
Rest could handle such a thing. But I wonder then if you were not manning them and you were only building them, what would your expectations be in payment for such an event or such
Just
a service?
It would be just a flat toll.
Edric then kind of brings in, he starts talking about it. Josh doesn't actually know what would be a reasonable toll in this situation,
We feel that pain.
but
Yeah.
Edric definitely would know a reasonable
yeah.
toll. I would probably guess like he would probably propose flat tolls at different rates. Kind of
Mhm.
like you see at like campgrounds where it's like, okay, if you're a single person on a motorcycle, you're paying $1. If you're in a car is 5, a camper is 25, kind of stuff like that.
And then Santa also saying like, our Karak can also help with the maintenance too, like X amount of times per year go out and like maintain the checkpoints since we are the one who created them.
And what this is Lord Victor, Trey Prince Victor. How exactly would these checkpoints help? What I apologize if I cannot accurately assemble them in my mind, but as a man who is more experienced in alternative forms of transportation, I am curious as to what you think the benefit of placing a checkpoint on a long, endless plain would be.
This is Ethan trying so hard not to overthink.
It's not, buddy. But you got it.
I guess for Ethan's sake, checkpoints are used as just a place for rest. Is that correct? Kind of,
Place for
or like
rest and place for defense. If
a place for
someone's gonna attack,
defense if they're being chased by like say animals and things like that.
is a
Um,
beacon of
Place of
society.
toll collection for the
Place of
Yeah.
governments
toll collection.
involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not only would these checkpoints be back in character, this not only the checkpoints be places where the government's not involved and man can collect the tolls, but it can also be safe havens. Let's say on the endless stretch of the plains, they have I'd say travelers, unfortunately, some animals, and if there's no such place for rest, eventually they'll wear out. Possibly fall prone to the animals that are chasing them. But if we have such places that could act as minor safe havens or places that travelers and trades, not only that, this is to the south, right, Josh?
Yes.
To the south.
Basically, you're crossing a savanna like Africa
Mhm.
before you get to another more temperate climate because climate is weird in
Mhm.
Xeris for reasons.
Climate is weird on planet Earth.
That's yeah. And say not only that, but also make the trade easier between the south and here as well. There'll be an established road along the way, faster travel.
Lynn interjects here, kind of prodding, almost probing. And she proposes a question to the whole group. Water is the biggest issue when traveling across the endless plain. Does anyone propose a solution to consistent water rights and places to gather water along such a road?
Such a things. Guys, did we make an infinite spring?
No, we settled down by a
No.
lake.
Yeah, we sit down by a lake. But I guess, Josh, how hard are decanters of endless water to come by?
I mean, we can't just
They
like
go
put down a
for
2x2.
tens of thousands of gold pieces.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
yeah.
We could. Okay, I'm trying to think about spells that could help locate. Is she asking about like who will secure the water and whose those rights will go to.
She's asking who has a solution to the biggest problem and how are they going to profit off of it? If you
Look through
don't speak up in the next few minutes, someone else, in the next few seconds, well, 20 or so seconds, someone else will.
I can't think of.
Meh.
This is so far out of my realm. I'm sorry.
Stone shape to dig wells.
Yeah, we can. I mean, there's spells out there that we can help dig wells or find aquifers beneath. That can also establish checkpoints over to help with water sources.
Adrian just asked a pretty innocent question here, and he says, do you think as a dwarf you would be more capable of locating what did you call them?
Aquifers.
Yeah,
They're
the underground water. That's what it is, right?
Underground
Yes.
water.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
it
Eh,
yeah. Yes.
What makes you more predisposed to finding such things? You are getting your claws trimmed tomorrow.
Oh, pity.
Good.
As well
Don't remind
as
me
a
I need someone
people and as a
else.
society that has lived underground, well, as our primary thing, we've found ways to be able to help find water and water sources where there is none, or try to find solutions to get to it or bring it to us.
Can you roll me a persuasion check?
Yeah. So I have a plus 15, guys.
Yes,
Mm.
I know that.
I'm gonna hold my bardic really fast.
This
Just
is
to,
going to be
21. Do I want to inspiration
Oh,
this?
the 6, my god.
I'll inspiration this because I'll still have my bardic. 34.
This is a bard in a bard situation.
Yeah.
this is a
They
bard
are
in
all pretty well shut up about that. Like you basically spoke with the authority of Einstein on physics.
yeah. Or but I know this guy as he's like looking over in the mirror.
Yeah.
Victor's the only one who really puts any more into that subject. And he says, if all else fails, you can always purchase another one of my endless sources. Again, he says, looking over to to King Helmer, who closes his eyes just a little bit too long. The king then goes on and kind of addresses you, Samter, if I remember your name correctly.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
the assistance that you've given my kingdom in taking care of those beastmen who were harrying our highway down to Brindle.
It is of no concern as of, well, for us in our current times. You know, it only seemed right, and I'd like to extend an apology apology for, well, not reaching out or saying anything sooner about us and our ongoings below the surface.
It is of concern. It is of my concern. I understand it may not be consequential to you, but you have performed a service for lands that are within my authority. And yes, your announcement did come later and with no official greeting from any of you underneath, but I understand that this is a messy process between the rights of the above and the below ground. I want to offer a hand in friendship to you and your people. He reaches out a hand, first to Edric, who gracefully accepts and doesn't. He just kind of. You can tell it's just a rehearsed, like, thank you,
Mm-hmm.
but in a few more words. It's not as stiff as Emil's, but
Mm-hmm.
but you
What?
can tell it's rehearsed. Um, how does
Um,
Samter respond to A king literally saying, "I want to shake your hand in friendship."
Ah,
Mhm.
Xander, with all of the grace that a bard can have, especially one who has lived long enough, like, takes his hand and says, "We accept this friendship, and we look forward to new opportunities with our friends above ground, and hopefully to clear up any misunderstandings of things that have happened below."
I believe that we have, and I hope that you and your people flourish down there. I know very little of those things that happen underneath my ground, and I hope your expertise will allow us to create a more flourishing kingdom in the stone and in the soil.
Xander.
Emmerich, since this conversation is kind of concluded, Emmerich kind of like just kind of gives you a look, and he just kind of gives like, "Can I just say something?"
Yes.
I offered an invitation to a member of your Carrick nearly 5 years ago, and I was wondering whether he was going to make good on it,
Mhm.
First of
or
all,
whether I should just not
um,
expect him to come again.
on his behalf, even though it may not be as heartful as it is for him, I deeply apologize for the absolute lateness of this. He has not forgotten, I can assure you.
Can you roll me a persuasion check?
Mhm.
Hmm. I did my bark this time. 39.
Nice.
Jesus.
That's some Dubrick stealth levels of BS.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He shoots a look over at Mimir, who's currently talking with the nobles.
Do not worry. I'll give him a stern talking to again.
There will be words of the car ride home.
Mhm.
The glory of the elves may be eternal, but our patience is not, Lord Hornbelly.
I understand. Checking for Samrick.
When we offer invitations, everybody should see it as an honor.
I
You would
understand.
do well to remember that.
Thank you. I do.
He leaves the conversation of that, continuing. He basically is spending most of his time just observing King Helmer. Like, is this guy good enough?
Mhm.
Do I need to take him out?
Yeah, that's what he's thinking.
Mhm.
Whether or not he could, probably can't, but um, that's definitely what he's thinking. Is there anything that you want to say to them before this is over?
Oh, just to was it Victor?
Victor.
Yeah, Victor Windsor. Um, uh, yeah, at proper time then. Trade Prince Victor.
How can I help
Um,
you?
one of our current shepherd in our Karak is looking to, at least in the future, procure some goods, some animal goods from you and your stocks that you have up there.
My herds are always available for those who have the coin. And I must ask, are you looking for the more tantalizing and exotic goods?
Unfortunately, as much fun as that would be, no. We're just
I
looking
can't
for
interest you in any camel meat or perhaps kodo hide from the far distant lands of Kalimdor?
Samter,
See, I
puts his
know
hand on
that
his
name.
belly, like rubs it, because it's clearly obvious. Like he's a man who likes to eat. He's like, as
Or
much.
perhaps the far off spices from the Tolvir?
Trade Prince Victor, this is also tempting. As a foodie myself,
Well, I hear
I
that your
do.
pockets do not run so shallow.
Yes, but we must keep a tight pocket purse in these times as we are still growing. I hope to in the future taste these, but taste all these wonderful things that you are talking about. But unfortunately, right now we must stick to the bare minimums of just wool and vellum.
You're no fun. But on the subject of invitations, I may be no dragon prince, but I know a promising upstart when I see them. I
Samter
would
is. Oh,
be
go ahead.
very glad to dine with you and those leaders of your Carrick, however you have structured yourselves. It doesn't seem as though that has been established, he says, looking well around at each of your compatriots.
Not as of yet. As like I said, there's two. I wouldn't say too few. There's only a handful of us, and we have all of us in our own right have been extremely busy and trying to take care of the business as we should in creating our small town down there. But
I foresee good things for you.
thank you. I look
You
forward to
have
our
filled a
treats.
very interesting niche.
Oh,
Dwarves on water. Who could have guessed?
Santa gives a big grin. Whoever thunk it? Whoever thought that would happen?
You know, there's a saying amongst the shepherds and the farmers, when pigs fly. Some others to the north would say, when dwarves swim.
Santa gives a big, like just a hearty, like laugh. Obviously, the face tattoo and the septum piercing. It's like, are you sure this is the same person? You know, type
Yeah.
of thing. And it's just, he wipes away a tear because he's laughing. Oh, that is a good saying. I do appreciate that.
Now, I apologize for being so curt, but business is business and connections must be made.
Do
I
understand.
wish you the best, and though it may be several centuries or perhaps decades late, I wish you congratulations, he says, tapping on his own nose.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was hard. But I learned. I learned a lot, especially with a great mentor as well.
Hmm. He wants to say something about that, but he already said his goodbyes, so he
Mhm.
heads over to another group to start another conversation. Why didn't you buy camel meat?
Because it's expensive, Josh. I know it is.
Buy some
You can
Toto
feel
hide.
Catherine's glare from across the room.
Buy some saffron.
Oh
No.
god, no.
No!
We don't need saffron.
Did they name Saffron after Saffron?
The elves certainly did.
Even though
The
they're
elves certainly
almost
bred a
opposite
version that's
colors.
blue specifically for him.
That must be expensive.
I hope I was able to break up the tension, at least between the higher ups.
Man, I completely forgot about that invite Mimir got.
Yeah.
Oh man, Santa's gonna have a word with Mimir.
I know it's just we've been busy with everything else.
I know, and I understand.
When
But I
years for
must-
us are like 15 minutes, it's very easy to lose track of time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does anyone have any conversations that they want to have with specific individuals rather than cliques? Because this is when the cliques have kind of started to dissipate and like, all right, we said our gist of the people that we
All
are
right,
like associated with.
Does Cornelius's daughter
As-
ever approach me?
She's not here. She was not
Oh.
invited.
All right, as an idea, maybe we kind of come up to everyone and say what each group kind of said, and then just kind of just go around in the circle effectively in the order. Be like, all right, what the fuck's going on? As I'm pretty sure Mimir's gonna get just shit wrapped by Samter, but in more nice words.
Yeah, in nice words, but like a little bit. I don't want to say too loud, but I think if Emmerich is close by, close enough to Emmerich to like hear Samter chastising Mimir, has to do his part that he said he would. Just like
This is
how could you forget? Not how could you fit, but why's it taking you so long just to go and accept the invitation of the Dragon Prince Emmerich?
it has taken a
It's so
while, and I will say sorry to him, but
you better
I
bring a gift suited for the time.
yeah.
I feel like you will. I believe in you.
Hmm.
Santa does like a quick look around to see if Emmerich would listen. Or you heard it.
I mean, I wonder if he accepts a helm of adamantine.
Josh, is there any reaction from Emmerich? Oh, he's muted.
Sorry, one more time.
Is there after like I've chastised maybe Santa's going to do like a quick like sneaky look around to see if Emmerich heard his chastising of Mimir.
Make me a perception check.
16.
Not bad.
You only really catch him turning away from you.
Okay. All right. Well, I shook hands with the king.
Uh,
Good for you,
Are-
Center.
weren't we supposed to not do that?
He did it first. So yeah, so here's the thing. We're probably gonna receive a notice. We talked we talked about they talked about building roads across the plains to Stormwind down in the south.
Uh-huh.
I proposed the idea, because I had to interject, right, get myself in there, that we help build the checkpoints and find the water sources for the checkpoints and help maintain the checkpoints. And in
Ah,
return, we get a flat toll.
and how
And
do
at
we
this
plan
point,
on
you just
doing
hear
that?
Mimir say,
I'm
it's a
assuming with magic.
Yes.
Samster said Mimir would do all of it.
I didn't say Mimir. I said as a group, we have spellcasters.
So you know,
Yeah.
Mimir was the majority of it.
I'm pretty sure this is why I cannot go see the Dragon Prince, Santer. Mimir just says
No,
that.
you can go do that before we build any roads.
Yes.
Okay.
And what about the water sources?
I told him we could find them.
Do you know how to
I
find
hope
water
you're right
sources?
about that.
I'll brush up on my knowledge.
Mimir
I
pulls
reckon
out.
locate object works on water.
Mimir pulls
I
out.
don't
Fucking
know.
like says, don't worry about it. I know my. I have a chart of the water table back in my house.
Oh,
I can
Perfect.
take a look at
That's
that.
an oddly specific thing to
that
have,
far
but okay.
down south?
I need a map of the one down there, or more or less, I need to make one.
All right.
Okay. I'm just gonna
Uh,
trust you on that.
I believe we'll be able to do it. Other than that, I made relations with the trade prince of Victor.
Good.
Excellent.
All right.
He has also said that we should dine with them. Now, whether that would be, I did not pick up whether or not it would be with him or him with us. Also, is Trade Prince
Alright.
Victor a human, Josh?
Victor is a human with a skin tone unlike one that can be found here in the Eastern Kingdoms. It's
Okay.
basically the equivalent of a Middle Eastern.
Ah,
Got it. So, I have made, I think, decent relations, or at least introductions for trades to start taking place. And I think we should have dinner with him sometime. It's gonna be interesting. Other than
Meanwhile-
that, that's gonna be it. What about you guys?
on my end, I found out that the bands of rest are thinking of going after the already weakened goblins to weaken them further in the worm smokes.
Oh, good.
Good.
I hope they do.
We
I
didn't
hope they do
encounter
too,
any on our
and
trips over.
Heck, I might
I'm
help them if
thinking
they
that
asked.
maybe we could consider helping them, or at least supplying them with information from Asgal on what's in the worm smokes on the higher elevation
Well,
areas.
Well, everybody knows what's in the worm scopes: goblins, hobgoblins, and dragons, and then whatever dragons concoct out there.
Right.
True.
So
Maybe
if
it
we
was a
end up
good-
in the worm smokes at some recent point, poking your heads out might not be a terrible idea.
Another
mean,
important
Any more
point
specifics, I'm sure would be
was
welcome.
that they
mean-
asked that if we were to make an alliance with them, which I was for, if we would end up protecting them, which we don't have the resources or the people to protect them at the moment.
Well, the next horde isn't going to happen until they're dead. They're looking
True.
forward to
Damn.
the next generation. We could gamble, right, and say that we will. Hopefully, by that time, our fortress is pretty fortified.
I
Not gonna
dodged the
lie.
question a little
Hmm.
bit, saying that we may be able to help, just because I was not sure if our defenses would hold up against whatever comes our way at the moment.
But
Because we
but
still
also
have the
getting them to
possibility
help.
of Ezekiel coming up and trying to kill us.
Shh. Shh. Don't say that. Sorry, not angry, but don't.
I mean, I assumed that we were in a private place.
No.
You don't know who's listening.
We're kind of nonchalantly group huddling, trying to
Oh,
look
yeah.
like we have a normal conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, we
Noted.
have our own problems, but
but having them help us too when we're in need, that's pretty good.
yes.
It would be very
If
helpful.
it's especially
No,
since
I would
we're
think it might be something worth getting more details on
plus we're,
expectations wise.
Yes.
we're only a days away from each other.
Yes, we
This
are
is
only
true.
days away.
If we're able to somehow get a system to where they can use it to go down and we can use it to go up and vice versa, it could be
Yes.
great.
It is something that requires a lot of details.
Yes, and also more men going through that way would probably break up some of the more of the stigmatism and thought others have of us. You know,
I was
crazed band
discussing
of,
something similar like that with the religious leaders,
a crazed
forming
band of
that?
more of a network connecting all the temples across the Vale, more
That's an
cultural
interesting
exchange, an exchange of
Cultural-
resources,
Are you saying a Temple of Moradin outside of a Dwarven Hold?
potentially.
That's
you're telling me that
interesting.
And given what we can now do with those,
Dwarven exiles and
Oh.
slayers might be able to use them?
Of course,
yes.
that's just for us at the moment.
But the slayers.
Yes,
Places
but I
of
was
refuge
I
for
was
our kin
talking
that are
about
not in our
Cathra's
carrots.
thing on what we have done with the temples. That's just for us at the moment. If other people knew about that, that might be a little interesting.
I doubt we're the first people who have thought of it. I even more greatly doubt that we'll be the last.
True.
And if we were to enter into some sort of defense pact with the rest, it could be incredibly useful to be able to get
It
there
would.
immediately and back out in
It is
just as
that
quickly.
if we keep good alliance with Carrick Asgal too. From both
With that
sides.
defense pact, I think our first step may be helping the mercenary bands of rest with the horde problem.
Not mercenaries, night bands.
Night
because
Night
we-
bands.
Yeah,
Yes.
the more we break up the goblins right now, the longer it's going to be before our Carrick has to face them.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is entirely on our own self-interest.
So that will
Yes.
be something to look forward to. What about
Maybe
that was religious? What about that's
Mimir,
everything,
what
huh?
about you?
Mimir, how about the nobles? How
Could gone better. I mean, they immediately start talking about taxing us, and I
Oh, God.
talked about
Ugh.
our people. What's our whole style? Three of them kind of felt iffy, but the one that was Florida, Brindle, and Nemon's Gap, that region was pretty all right with us. Pretty all right with me. Which I felt like that's how it's gonna go. You know.
Hmm.
I felt like it was gonna be that's how that was gonna fall, especially as our kind of looking around, our government is right now. It's
Yes, there
legit.
seems to be a lot of confusion over that and over us not
We
having a
need
single leader.
to
I mean, they're
soon
right. Aren't we
establish
confused
how
about this?
we should need to establish how we want to run. Do we
Yeah.
want to run
Yes,
We do, but I
as
think
a
that's an
kingdom?
at-home conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
there's an at home, but I just need to bring that up. I mean, an idea I do have about I gotta point to Torek. The Help of the Knights, maybe we could give them, say, passageway through certain mountains. Maybe bore out some holes into the wall, clear out some of the
Interesting.
tunnels so they can
Making
have
it
a
easier to
better
travel through the worm smokes for both dwarves
yes,
and
so they don't
humans.
so they don't have to. So a big group of knights can travel from one entrance of a cave to the other and be able
Ooh.
to get across.
We
How
we
would
better
we
can
make
make
get
sure
sure
they're
those passages stay
amenable to
safe?
cave travel first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Lights for
They
the
Or-
don't exactly see in
humans.
the dark as well as we do.
they don't, but
But
putting
how would we
putting
make
some
sure that
torches and
those
putting
tunnels stay safe? Because monsters tend to like those dark places.
looks points at each of us.
You're saying we man that ourselves?
I'm saying we take care of them. Like how we took care of the road between between our Carrick and Asgol, to the point where there's no enemy that stands between us or any of our kin between them there.
True, but that did take a long time. That is a lot closer to home and in a more civilized area. I don't know if it would work as well in the
Yeah.
worm smokes.
And it would take a lot of mining to make a tunnel through the worm smokes.
It
It's many
would, but
miles.
also think about this. If we do, as now it sounds, because of the claims of Asgol underneath the earth and the claims of Red Rock, without infringing on our cousins,
Mhm.
we'll have to delve into those mountains.
The worm smokes are pretty much our only option as far as territory.
In terms of pure territory, yes, and also do think about this. If we do get a bunch of that stone, we can just send it over to the high nobles and they can build their road.
That is
Love it.
true. Oh, that's a brilliant idea.
I would imagine we already have a great deal of stone just from hollowing out around Carrick's-Edern.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
We can probably even give that to them now if we want to make ourselves look better.
Mhm.
And
So, what's our first order of business after this? Is it to
I
take care of the
think
goblins?
it's
me is
well,
gonna be make a gift.
Mimir.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So I
You
think
make a gift
all of
for
us
the Dragon Prince.
we need to. I think it's time for us to dig down and just start getting even more nitty gritty with the Karak. Just just things
Elaborate?
like that.
All right.
As in, I have to. I mean, we also have to. I have to make preparations, not
We need to
only
make
for the
well,
Karak, but for my own family.
That is true.
yes,
I need to think about that too.
and
I need to find someone in the first place.
Yeah,
well,
but that's a conversation for the Karak. Let us
Yeah. That's a weird concept for
another
me.
let's
one.
enjoy the party.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy the party, but also
Pray I
when we
don't
get
get
home, the
jumped by a
first thing
rogue
we
Rome.
are hammering out is our legal system. Amir says that's the first thing we're doing because we
Yeah.
cannot have this forever of us saying, "Let me get back to the rest of them." We need people.
Indeed.
We need names to say that yes, go to this person if you have any question, or I
Yeah.
need to
We need
contact
to
this person.
establish what each of the great clans do in the Karak.
Yes,
At least for now, yes.
Yeah.
But as good a time as any. We don't have any. We don't have really any pressing matters.
No. Nothing pressing. Just the
well,
ever looming decision of going there and killing that.
Anyway,
There-
I
There
am
is
going to.
a pressing matter.
Oh, what is it? We forget.
What did we forget? There's
What did
always
we
something.
forget?
General finishes and goes home, your job becomes infinitely more difficult.
Oh my, that's right.
How
Oh,
much time do we have?
You don't know.
So we have to go now. Oh my
we need
gosh.
to do
Yeah,
these things
well-
now. We need to make these deals now.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go to the party. I'm gonna go eat some worm.
Some egg.
It's such
you
a weird
mean.
way to put it.
It really is.
Some worm egg.
That too.
That too. What other worms are here, Samter?
Oh, it's a better worm. It's a
Ones
better
dug out of the
word.
ground, apparently.
Word.
Good.
Oh, we have a lot of
All right.
work to think about.
Oh, yeah. And we need to do it all before everyone starts leaving.
Well, no,
Yeah.
no, no. We had to do it. We had to deal with a bloodthirster before Manroth leaves.
What?
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I
sure
don't, I
that's
don't, I don't think we need to have like concrete deals hammered out with everyone here at this party.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, we don't.
It's
It's
just we have
it's
to
enough
do
for
it.
us to make communication,
Yeah.
and then
We're
I think,
networking. We're getting a feel for what everyone's doing. They're getting a feel for what we're doing.
yeah,
Yes.
what we're doing, and then we don't have to tell them we're going to the sea demons.
Yeah.
Yes. We just have to do that on ourselves.
If all of a
And
sudden you don't see one of us ever again.
Well, here's the thing too. Timey-wimey is kind of weird in the Argus.
Yeah.
We might be
But
gone
we
for
don't
a
know that,
while.
do we?
No.
well, it depends. Is there going to be a bloodthirster? Are we going to go on Argus, or are we going to fight a bloodthirster here?
Can we find a
'Cause that's a
bloodthirster
lot.
here?
The vibe I've been getting is we're going to Argus, but I would
Yeah.
love me to be wrong.
Which means we
'Cause
need to
Argus
figure out how to
sucks.
get there.
Well, yeah, that's why they're
We've got
saying
portal shit.
the Scarlet.
It's the getting back
Oh.
that I'm concerned with.
Word recall.
Just banish everyone.
Yes, that could work.
We just
You
make a
weren't native
squirrel
to this
word
plane.
recall.
I thought
What,
Argus had
Josh?
weird anti-flater shenanigans.
What was the question again?
How do we get back?
Does Word of Recall work over dimensions?
That's what I'm trying to check.
Someone post it?
It just says to a designated
Doesn't
sanctuary.
say.
It doesn't say.
Yeah, if it doesn't say it can't be stopped, then yeah.
All right.
Word of Recall is now the most broken teleportation spell.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Man,
it
it's
is.
just.
Level
fast
6 and
travel.
it works cross dimension.
Oh, I was
God, I wish I'd known that earlier. I would have exploited the hell out of that Azura.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I did as Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Hindsight.
2020. So, are we good to end the session here?
I think
Yeah.
so.
I think so.
So, what is your
Alright.
guys' hope for next week?
That's a
N-
great
um,
question.
Fucking hammer out our
Big
fucking-
overarching, cruise a monastery, get more information, set up a government, set up what our clans do, and then leave.
In what
Well,
order?
set of plans.
Yes.
Go to Crimson Monastery. Because I'm gonna be issuing as a player. Everyone do their homework this week and think of your ideas of what the fuck the clans need to do.
Yeah.
I think Mir's clan is going to be very straight and simple. You know, mainly
Golems.
craftsmen. Well, craftsmen. That's it.
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
was.
Craftsmen, artisans.
Yeah.
Well,
Because the
depending on
torchlights
what
could be more
torque-
focused on, like, rune forging.
yeah.
Good fortune.
Fuck.
You make the
I
stuff,
am
we
gonna-
enchant them.
I
Santa
will.
now has to fucking figure out what he's gonna go do in life.
Well, I have to write down on paper now. I just take whatever you guys don't do. Kidding.
So mining and healing.
Mining. Well, I don't want
The
to cross
Iron
over what
Frost seem to
Danielle wants
have
to do.
mining covered.
I think like
Sid
half
is
the
left
time
without
I'm
a job
covered.
again.
I
You
mean,
fucking-
stone singing gonna be one. Healing.
Yeah.
It's nearly gonna be what his previous clan did.
Oh, scoring.
Helheim.
Hell, yeah.
So
Maybe
yeah,
Cat-
think about how you guys want to organize yourself. I'm not sure that's gonna take super long. What are you gonna do after you've set up your form of governance?
Probably. I think honestly, for me, if there's gonna be after, I probably just go straight to the Crimson Monastery, leave a few notes for Mirror send, just tell everyone what the fuck to do, and if I don't come back within this set amount of time, just make sure people get that.
An important
I
question
might be back
is
later, but
when are the rest boys doing their crusade?
That has not been established yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like they barely decided to do it, so I doubt they have timelines. When are we making good on our fancy invitations?
You mean Mimir's
Better be
fancy
to do
invitation?
good.
Well, Amir's
Soon.
got one, and then we've got one with the trade prince.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Are we doing that before we leave for Argus?
Yes.
I think we need to do everything possible before we leave to Argus in case we
Yeah.
don't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. The timeline for when Samter has to leave is until Josh decides that Sauce is pregnant. That's
I'm gonna
when.
say that it's not gonna be a major concern.
Well, huh?
What?
It's not
Yes.
going to take very long.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. And also, Ethan has
Because,
not
like,
just
I thought for a
asked-
second there that you were implying that she was already.
I am neither confirming nor denying.
Oh, she is.
Oh.
She is.
And then we finally get the reaction that I've
I'm
talked
just
about.
gonna say she's trying to figure out the best way to not get Samter to freak out.
Oh,
No, I
no.
don't think that's possible.
Yeah.
I know, that's what she's coming to the realization of.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the better question is: has she had weird cravings?
Is Samter socially aware enough to notice?
If it's the wife of like 40 years and she's like craving something that she never usually craves, yes.
You've got a lot on your plate right now, dude.
Yeah, what do you
They
know?
You've
haven't
not
been
been
home
home
very
very much
often.
lately.
You're right. You're
What are
right.
you trying to do, you idiot?
Josh.
You stupid cat.
Pippi's such a menace.
She's trying to
Oh,
climb a
Pippi.
monitor. It's an inch wide.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
He would think it's
Okay.
weird, but it's like I've been gone a little bit, so a little bit,
Maybe
a
she
lot bit.
developed
might
a
have
new like for this food.
yeah. You know, I thought you were joking about pickled herrings earlier.
Oh, I laughed too
Pickled
loud.
Harry's can bring you into the world, they can take you out.
Oh god. Well, I'm gonna stop the recording here.